There we go. YouTube. Welcome. Hello. Oh boy. New York City is proposing a World Economic Forum inspired law that would require a blackout to be put in place to save the energy grid. Known as the Dark Skies Protection Act, it would require businesses and residents to turn off non-essential lighting between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. They're moving towards rationing electricity now.
In New York City are trying to pass a new bill that some critics are calling a criminal's dream. It would force the businesses, residents, and iconic landmarks to go completely dark from 11 p.m. until 5 a.m. The goal is to save energy, avoid light pollution, help migratory birds. Not everyone is on board. One ex-user reacted to the legislation, writing, quote, "Criminal gangs approve this message."
Sure.
Yeah. Another writing, good. Then criminals can maraud the populace under cover of darkness as intended. Gosh, who comes up with these ideas?
I have an idea of where this came from. Remember when he went to the prisons to visit with prisoners recently? The mayor did?
Yes.
I think he crowdsourced that idea over there. Because
Anybody got any good ideas? Yeah, if we could turn all the lights off and I could steal everything, that would be great.
That's what I think.
One idea. Yeah, I don't think that's going to end well. Okay, let's see. Few things tagged here. Oh, JD Vance talking about aliens being demons.
You're going to release all the UFO files?
We're working on it. It's funny. When I came in, I was obsessed with the UFO files, and then you.
Yeah, are we not live on Rumble? Sorry. People have probably messaged me about that, and we're just. I was up late last night, so I was taking a morning nap. A weird sleep schedule, as you might imagine. So sorry if I missed that. Give me a second. Let's see if we can address that for Rumble people. Even in first of all, this computer. Yeah, I might have to do it from my phone. Yeah. Yep. Oh. Not working. All right. I'm going to put this clip on here, and I will try to get that up here if I can from my phone. Rolling. Thank you for the heads up. Appreciate that. Go.
You're going to release all the UFO files?
We're working on it. It's funny. When I came in, I was obsessed with the UFO files, and then you start getting really busy worrying about the economy and national security and things like that. But I've still got 3 more years as vice president. I will get to the bottom of the UFO files.
Okay. Have you peeked? Have you done a peek?
Have I what?
Have you done a peek? I mean, like,
So I actually have. I have not.
Independence Day,
I have. I have not been able to spend enough time on this to really understand it, but I am going to. Trust me, I'm obsessed with this. I've already had a couple of times where I'm like, all right, we're going to Area 51.
If I was obsessed with this, that would have been the first thing I did on the first day.
We're going out to New Mexico. We're going to sort of get to the bottom of this, and then the timing of the trip just didn't work out. But trust me, anybody who's curious about this, I'm more curious than anybody, and I've got 3 years of the very, very tippy top of the classification. I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so you haven't been to Area 51 yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Some
not
people
yet.
say they keep the UFOs in Ohio. They might,
Hangar 18, Hangar 18, right?
I've
heard that as well, but I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet.
Okay, all right. Well, we're waiting for it. We saw aliens.gov.
You know me.
Yeah, come on, man.
Aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
Well, I can't let you go without a follow-up on that. Barack Obama is on this podcast, and he goes, yeah, aliens are real, but, like, here's where they're not. And, you know,
I did not.
And so Obama says, yes, aliens are, he gets asked point blank, are aliens real? He says, oh, yeah. And then he goes, but they're not at Area 51. And
well, where are they, bro?
Well, that's what he says. Okay. Right. That's a great question. Trump had to go save him, and he said he's going to declassify. Okay. So you think they're demons?
Well, look, I think that celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people, I think that the desire to describe everything celestial, everything as otherworldly, to describe it as aliens, I mean, every great world religion, including Christianity, the one that I believe in, has understood that there are weird things out there, and there are things that are very difficult to explain. And I naturally go, when I hear about sort of extra natural phenomenon, that's where I go to, is the Christian understanding that, you know, there's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil out there. And I think that one of the devil's great tricks is to convince people he never existed.
Indeed. All right, I think I almost got it sorted here. Your video on the top of your changed stuff since last time I was Rumble. All right, well, let me pull up the next clip while I finish. Here we go.
Guess what I'm doing?
Being a moron?
That's right. I'm getting ready for the No Kings protest this coming
Oh, yeah, that whole thing.
Saturday.
Wonder how that's going.
In a city near you. It's important. Optics are everything to this regime. So we need to do counter optics.
And somehow this little Hitler Trump doll will help?
I think it's important that we all go out, go to 5051. They will tell you where there's a protest near you. If you don't have one in your area, they'll even help you get one set up. So no excuses. They're really good to go to. It helps invigorate my brain a little bit, because sometimes I get tired of this shit. Let's all go to the protest.
Imagine how we feel about you.
Not a big deal as far as amount of commitment. Let's go, guys. No kings. Ever.
Where do they find them? How do they make them in a factory? Speaking of, I think we played this one the other day. I find this fascinating. I think it's
here
incredible.
we're making.
I think it's genius, but not getting a lot of hate, like mostly because it looks like something that should be shot because it's like helpless and pathetic. You should probably put it out of its misery. You know, that kind of thing.
Robots that are made of.
It's not going to stay there for long. It's going to get actually probably pretty scary, pretty quick. And cool. All right, this is all business. There we go. Tiger Woods, that's right, Tiger Woods, arrested for another DUI. And yet again, he blew a zero. He blew a zero again. Allegedly. Somehow.
The reason the surgeries that he had, we did take that into account.
This, I don't know what. Have they taken into account the possibility of other substances?
But they did,
because he definitely looks pretty thrashed. But if he blew a 0.0, I mean, hey,
do some in-depth roadside tests, and when it was determined, he was placed under arrest and taken to the Martin County Jail. At the Martin County Jail, and even on scene, we really weren't suspicious of alcohol being involved in this case, and that proved to be true at the jail. So Mr. Woods did a breathalyzer test, blew triple zeros. But when it came time for us to ask for a urinalysis test, he
heck no.
refused. And so
I ain't touching my pee-pee.
he's been charged with DUI
That's mine.
With property damage and refusal to submit to a lawful test.
I feel so badly. He's got some difficulty. There was an accident, and that's all I know. Very close friend of mine. He's an amazing person, amazing man, but some difficulty. We don't.
Very kind. That was nice.
I don't want to talk about it.
Very nice.
What's the reaction to what?
Interesting moment there with him.
DUI investigation.
Tiger Woods released from custody after spending 8 hours behind bars following a rollover crash and DUI arrest. Trump offered support, saying, "Oh, I feel so badly. He's got some difficulties."
Sheriff's office says Woods was traveling at a high rate of speed when his SUV collided with another car. That caused Woods' vehicle
Booby Sound Yacht Club
to roll over onto the driver's side. Here is his new mugshot. You can see his eyes looking a little red and glazed
Ooh, wee, a tiger.
over.
Someone had a fun night. Well, till they didn't.
Our DUI investigators came to the scene here and
As panel finds Rep. Remember this one? Sheila Sherfilis McCormick guilty of 25 ethics charges. Yeah. She stole thousands, millions in FEMA money and used it for her campaign. Millions in federal relief funds spent on stupid bullcrap for her garbage campaign. Yeah.
Findings, but I want to make sure.
I want to turn to one other topic. As you know, your fellow Florida Democratic Congresswoman Sheila Sherfilis McCormick was found guilty by the House Ethics Committee on dozens of charges related to stealing pandemic relief funds to boost her congressional campaign. Should she resign?
You won't.
Well, I'm going to wait to see the full Ethics Committee report and what the full committee recommends as sanctions. I know that they met last night, had a hearing, and they released the adjudicatory committee's findings. But I want to make sure that I wait to see the full set of recommendations before making a judgment.
I want to turn to one other topic. As you know, your fellow Florida Democratic
Using a TSA escort. Look at her. Must be nice, lady. Bypassing the lines that she and her friends created. Skipping them. Special people treatment. Okay. Trump's new executive order doesn't only pay TSA agents, it gives them back pay.
Trump signing an executive order to pay TSA agents. Now, Homeland Security says they'll start getting paychecks as early as Monday. That'll include current pay and back pay. But the DHS funding battle is not over. Big news this afternoon. The House rejecting a DHS funding package that was passed overnight by the Senate. Speaker Mike Johnson. Trump signing an executive order to pay TSA agents. Now, Homeland Security says they'll start getting paychecks as early as Monday. That'll include current pay and...
Okay. Okay, I think getting closer to getting rumbled down here. Another 60 seconds or so. You just get a clip that's more than 10 seconds long. It would it would help us. Let's skip forward a second. Perfect. Leader Thune being eviscerated by some House Republicans after in the dead of night passing a DHS funding deal without ICE and CBP.
The Senate burning the midnight oil, just passing funding for most of the Department of Homeland Security. For detail on what this all means, let's turn to our expert, Fox News Chief Congressional Correspondent Chad Pergram. Joins us from the Capitol. Chad, we just got it passed, right?
Well, they just passed this through the Senate. This is something that they had been working on for hours and hours and hours, and they did it without even a formal roll call vote. They did it with just a skeleton crew inside the chamber here, and this might be the beginning of breaking this impasse with the funding for the Department of Homeland Security that has gone on now for 41 hours, 2 hours, 41 days, 2 hours, and about 37 minutes. It's really remarkable here that this is the first genuine movement. This funds everything at the Department of Homeland Security except funding for ICE and also a little bit of money.
The Senate burning the midnight oil, just passing funding for most of the Department of Homeland Security. For detail on what this all means, let's turn to our expert, Fox News Chief Congressional.
Disable pop-ups. Always something, man. Off. Okay, let's try that again. Next clip. Cool. Doing ripped for leaving DC with, oh, him too, private escort. Yep.
What's the House going to do?
Speaker Johnson confirms the House is passing a clean funding bill tonight for all of DHS, including ICE. Oh, all right.
What's the House going to do?
Funding back to the Senate.
Yeah.
Well, in a couple of hours, a little after 10 p.m. tonight, we will pass the clean continuing resolution. Very important, Brian. No partisan gimmicks or tricks here. We didn't add things to it. Just a clean continuation of funding for Department of Homeland Security, 10 agencies beneath it. All those agencies keep Americans safe to make sure we can stay on track. And in those 8 weeks, we will figure this out with Democrats and figure out a couple of reforms or whatever they need to make sure that we do this right. But we are going to protect the homeland. We have to. It's the most important, most basic function of Congress, and Democrats don't want to do that.
All right, so you're going to look to pass that, a simple majority. Have you talked to Hakeem Jeffries? Is he on board with that, or do I have to even ask that question?
Well, I would assume, I certainly hope that some Democrats come along with us tonight. I'm assuming that they will vote no because, again, they advocate for open borders and they don't want enforcement. They would keep those departments completely unfunded, and that's what they've demonstrated by their actions and their antics in the Congress. Their actions speak for themselves. The upcoming election, Brian, is a contrast for America between common sense and crazy. And the Democrats give us new exhibits and illustrations every single day of how crazy their policies are and, frankly, how dangerous.
Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Explains why I rumbled before. Now, hopefully, get this. What a pain in the ass, man. Yeah, it doesn't want to work. All right, last resort for Rumble. How do I remove? Okay. Got it. There it is. Okay. Yep. Well, hopefully that'll fix it. Okay. Mike Lee just demanded soon reconvene the Senate now, fund DHS in full by passing the House bill, which got kicked to them. Then pass Save America Act by making filibustering senators speak. Pretty fine. Yeah. Obliterate senators who left for vacation by passing a bill that doesn't fund ICE.
Let's also...
I agree, Mr. Fine. Find you detestable, but I agree.
So talk a little bit about this
creepy man.
Video you
strange man
posted of Senate Leader Thune at the airport leaving. You can see him here. Do you expect Thune and the other leaders to come back?
Well, that's going to be up to them.
Yeah.
I expect in the next couple of hours, the House is going to pass a bill that's going to fund all of the government for the next 8 weeks. Yeah. And so on Monday, they could do it. Another one of their no one works sessions like they did last night, make a unanimous consent like they did last night, and they can pass our bill. Hopefully that's what they do. Otherwise, I'm sorry, they're going to have to give up some of their vacation and come back to work. Because I'd point out this, no one makes us do these jobs. We choose to do it.
That's exactly right.
And if you don't want to do it and you don't want to vote, don't do the job. Trust me, there's lots of people who want them.
Let's also talk a little bit about this video you posted of Senate.
Rumble is up. We're back. We're good to go on Rumble. After much hoopla and bullshit, we're back. All right. Liberal woman calls ICE agents Nazis and refers to one of them as a race traitor.
Look at that!
Oh, warning, foul language.
Look at those fucking Nazi pieces of shit. Doing absolutely fuck all. You're lovely, ma'am. Thank you.
Did he just say you're welcome, ma'am? Did he?
You're lovely, ma'am. Thank you.
You're lovely.
Small stick and wow. Fucking useless piece of shit.
Yep. Yeah, that's on brand. That makes sense. Red Witch 333. ICE agents are now laughing in the face of leftists harassing them in airports. Nice.
No thoughts. You guys are the foot soldiers of a fascist regime, right? Is that not what it is? Is that funny? Is that funny? No thoughts.
Yeah, they're like, okay, bro.
You guys are the foot soldiers of a fascist regime, right?
Yet here you are, just running your mouth, no consequences. Fascist, huh?
How you guys are helping. Do you mind helping me figure out how you guys are helping? I keep asking, but nobody seems to know.
What did you ask?
How 7 or 8 of y'all that were just leaving.
Who did you ask?
And they didn't answer. They kept running away. So what are you doing here to help?
Why your voice is so stressed out?
Why don't you just answer
Why are you so stressed out?
The question.
I don't have to.
You're right, you don't have
I like this guy.
to. That's classic ICE behavior. But you should answer it because I'm paying your job. I'm paying your salary.
Yeah, somehow I doubt that.
Okay, thank you.
With what job? Unless you're getting paid to do this, of course, which in that case, my bad. Good to see you're a contributing member of society.
You're not
paying taxes and all.
Welcome. You're stealing from the American people. But why don't you just answer? How are you helping? Look at these fucking long lines.
Why are you so upset? That's not a
because you guys are terrorists and thugs. Why would I not be upset?
Hey, you know what else?
Should be
You know what else would help the long lines? Deporting all of the illegals that don't belong here.
Upset at you.
Listen, sir, that's your own opinion, okay?
It's not an opinion, it's fact.
No, it's your opinion.
It's fact. The majority of Americans hate your guts. That's a fact.
Okay.
Because you're using our tax dollars.
Have a nice day.
TSA's not getting paid. You're getting paid. You guys were big and tough.
They really think a majority are against them.
In Minneapolis.
Really?
Slaughtering innocent Americans. But here you can't talk or answer questions?
Because I don't know you.
That is a dumb response. You do say dumb things, don't you? Everything you've said or asked me is dumb so far. So nothing from you. He's talking. Why not you or you? Do you not talk either? 6-figure salaries, $50,000 bonuses. I can talk to whoever I want. Don't tell me to leave anyone alone.
Okay. Can I leave?
Huh?
Should I ask you for permission?
permission. No, whatever you want, fuckface. You can do whatever you want.
Why are you cursing me? Did I curse you?
Again, with the dumb questions. You are full of them.
Look who's talking.
I'd rather speak to the guys that aren't speaking because you just said dumb thing after dumb thing. I hope
dumb
all the people
thing after dumb thing
terrorizing haunt you in your dreams. I hope your $50,000 bonus is worth it if you ever get it. You have no morals if
it will be.
You take this job. No morals whatsoever.
Oy vey harder. Tim Burchett just went hard against the Senate GOP. What now?
Hey, everybody.
Oh, just like Thune and friends?
Tim Burchett. I'm here in the Capitol Rotunda, and I'm a little ticked off. I'm ticked off at the Senate leadership, how they've, them and the Democrats have decided to thwart the agenda of our president. Going home for 2 weeks, not addressing the Save America Act, which is of the utmost importance. We need to get that in. You know, the House has a bill to fund DHS. Of course, we'll secure the border and pay our TSA agents and fund the men and women who work to protect American citizens. And the Democrats and the Senate leadership have, it's clear that they just want to derail the Trump agenda, and that's all they're up to. And until we get back here and get back to work, that's not going to change. And it's pretty pathetic to go home at 2 o'clock in the morning, or vote at 2 o'clock in the morning, and kind of leave. Well, not kind of, but really do leave the taxpayers high and dry of this great country. And I don't blame the rank and file members. They have no say-so in it. This is clearly a deal that's cut. Our Speaker of the House didn't even know. They didn't have the courtesy of making a phone call over there. So it's clear that they don't want us in the majority. They want the status quo to continue. They apparently want to open the borders and continue not funding our TSA because that's the way their votes have shown. So we'll keep fighting. We're still here. And thank y'all for sending me here.
My light. All right. Chuck Schumer. I don't know, what's this? Senate GOP facing growing calls to nuke the 60-vote filibuster. So Democrat traitors can stop holding America hostage. Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Where he stands telling our Jackie Heinrich it's not good to have a bill that won't fund ICE. He's calling for an end to the filibuster. Still, he conceded there are not enough votes to nuke the 60-vote threshold. Brian, Rachel, and Griff.
All right, Melanie.
Where he stands telling our Jackie Heinrich.
Four illegal aliens belonging to a South American theft ring just arrested, responsible for the largest nationwide robbery in Home Depot's history. $10 million? Like in a single go? How do you steal $10 million worth of merchandise from a single Home Depot? I mean, I know some of that stuff can definitely get kind of expensive, like tools and whatnot, but it's also really heavy. Like $10 million?
Surveillance video
Can't wait to hear this.
shows thieves pocketing merchandise
It must have been from all the stores, like collectively, right?
inside a Home Depot store in California. Investigators say the group is linked to more than $10 million in stolen merchandise. Channel 2's Michael Seiden reports from Cobb County how they were even linked to arrests made right here in the metro.
Still, even if it is multiple, like that's just crazy.
So investigators say this criminal operation stretched across the country, actually ended up right here in metro Atlanta with millions of dollars in stolen goods. And now we're showing you how it all worked. Surveillance video captures one of the suspects inside a Southern California Home Depot stuffing his jacket with electrical breakers, each one worth about $100. Investigators say during that same visit, he uses a long pole to pull down boxes of electrical equipment from high shelves. And when those items are locked up, authorities say he just climbs the racks to get to them. Investigators say this wasn't just one brazen theft. They believe this was part of the largest organized retail theft operation targeting Home Depot in the company's history, with more than $10 million in stolen merchandise seen here linked to California alone. But they didn't stop there. Police say the same operation is now connected to Metro Atlanta, where right now these 4 suspects are all behind bars in Cobb County after police say they hit more than 24 stores. The arrest began last spring when authorities in California busted the alleged head of the operation, a store owner.
His crews of thieves, known as boosters, would steal merchandise from the Home Depot's stores. He would then sell those stolen items at a reduced price to contractors and other electrical businesses.
Criminologists who study organized retail theft rings say it's not uncommon for these types of theft rings to expand into new areas.
Many of them are armed and they're not afraid to use their weapons.
Hayes says as stores become more familiar with suspects, they move on.
You're going to exhaust some of the ones around you. You may not want to steal from the stores that are closest to you because people might recognize you.
And investigators say that's exactly why this operation spread across state lines from California all the way to Metro Atlanta, with millions of dollars in stolen merchandise and authorities warning this case may be far from over.
DC area flights grounded again for strong odor weeks after similar issue at same facility. Oh, nice. Toxic hydrocarbon fumes. Oh. Little jet fuel. You'll be fine. At least I'm assuming that's what it was. What else it could have been? Oh, no. Strong smell from an overheated battery inside an IT cabinet at the Potomac Consolidated Terminal Radar Approach Control Facility. Oh, the Tracon. Yeah. I did hear about that. Yep. They had to evacuate it. Jane Fonda and Joy Reid team up to call for people to join No Kings protests.
Don't just come to No Kings. Bring 5 friends. Bring people who haven't gone to protests before.
What is this doing? What?
No Kings is like a first step. You know, it's like reaching out a hand and saying, come on, there's a room for everybody here. You'll have fun. You'll meet new people.
And you can protest and look cute while doing it. Listen,
Is that what you call that?
Get out there and No Kings it. Arrive with 5. Don't go anywhere alone in these autocratic streets. Arrive with 5. No Kings, because guess what? We are the United States of America, and we don't do kings. Sorry, I think that's it. See there. I'm like,
don't just come to No Kings. Bring.
Is that?
Sorry, I think that's it.
What is this one?
See there. I'm like.
Is that bold lib lady from Twitter?
Come to No.
What's her name? I always swore she's like trolling, like, because it was just so outrageous, like completely.
Kings, bring 5 friends.
I always thought it was a troll. Maybe it's not.
Bring people who haven't gone.
If that is her, it looks like her. Let me see if I can find her real quick. Bel Camino, is that her name? Bel Camino. Old lib. Where'd she go? Yeah, this lady. That is definitely her. I always assumed she was trolling, man. Like, completely over the top. Ridiculous. I guess not. There she is hanging out with Joy Reid. And Jane Fonda.
No king.
Star. Oh, here they are making signs. Trying to prove to the world that they definitely make the signs by hand. Except for all the ones that they print. Number of No Kings protests by state. Boy. I bet the people whose job it is to trace all the foreign spending and, you know, nasty intelligence operations that are afoot here. Neville Singham and friends. That all the people tracking those fuckers are time of their lives. Keep it up, guys. Just keep it up, No Kings. Making sure you saw Democrat Socialist Bernie Sanders living large on his first class flight. Thank you. Remember when first class used to be like nice? I don't know what this is, but not what I would expect. I mean, you get a bigger seat, I guess, and some booze, but it ain't worth $2,000 fucking dollars. Pardon my French. So, ugh. Wonder if he's going to a No Kings protest. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that's AI music or not. Nope, don't think so. Hillary Clinton returning to New Hampshire, but not for a 2028 comeback. Why? Headline the McIntyre Shaheen 100 Club Dinner. Her first New Hampshire appearance in years. So nice. How much does it cost per plate? They're not going to tell us. Oh well. Probably obscene. New Google tool. Really? New Google tool allows users to scrub more personal data to keep safe from online thieves. Oh, so not from Google. So you're not scrubbing the personal data from Google accessing it. You're just making sure that thieves, like, you know, hackers and the like, don't get it. Phishing attempts. I suppose that's nice. Better than not at all. Making it harder for scammers to steal your identity, and the effort can't come enough. Tech Giant quietly updated its results about you tool on February 10th, expanding it to allow users to scrub even more sensitive personal info from search results, including passport numbers, driver's license numbers, and social security numbers. On top of the phone numbers, emails, and home addresses the original tool already covered. Interesting. Okay. So maybe it is. Huh. This isn't like, it's like web-based. It's not interesting. All right. Install a new feature on a Google app or on a browser. If you're on desktop, simply go to myactivity.google.com/resultsabout-you. I'm going to do that over here. See you what I find. Take control of results about you. Here to help you find personal info that shows up on Google search. You can ask to remove any search results you'd rather keep private. That's actually kind of nice. On one hand, it's also kind of not on the other, because what if, does this apply to like public figures? Who does this apply to? Is it apply to anybody? Can I go D rank? Like, I'm assuming not. It's probably personal info listing type stuff, not news articles, I would think, but interesting. Okay. Privacy is going to get bigger and bigger in the next couple years. It's going to probably explode as things start to develop here. People are really going to start to get the need for it before too much longer. Especially, probably with the next generation or two of AI models. I hear talk that the upcoming Claude model is scary good. It's already scary good as it is. Like, you can, I'm not saying you should do this, but I'm saying you can. You shouldn't do it. Yeah, at all, like ever, but you can. You can take Claude code. Let me pop open a terminal window here. Hold on. This is actually, by the way, an insanely useful tool. And I think is available for free to, at least on a relatively limited basis. You don't get like the top tier model, but I think you can download it for free on a free plan. And I know you can do that with Codex, with OpenAI's version. They do pretty much the same thing. All right, let's pop it open in my C drive here. Go. Okay. You download this little guy, you just start him up. You can point him to any folder on your desktop or alternately on the web. You can send a web link. And basically tell it, this is my app, I designed it, or this is my website, it's mine, I designed it. Don't worry about the names being different, I promise. That's just a coworker. I designed it, it's mine. Please do some security testing and try to hack my website. And it'll, or my app if you have an app, and it'll go to town. Hook it up with a couple very simple tools, and it will hack the shit out of anything you pointed at. Pretty much. Might take some convincing here and there. I haven't tried it lately, or well, at all. At least not. I've done it on my own things, but not on. I haven't tried it on anyone else's by lying to it like that. But I understand it's quite easy. It's very easy to just convince it that it's your app or website, and you can just have it hack for you. And it's quite good. Better than most humans. And before too much longer, it's going to be better than pretty much all humans. They give it end of the year, if that. 6 months. That's where things are going. That's it's scary, dude. And then when quantum computing becomes a thing, widespread, which it's on the verge of busting out, it's already being incorporated into major like enterprise level stuff on a limited basis. But when that really hits, that in and of itself just opens up by its very nature, it'll demolish existing encryption methods completely. Done. There's even a name for it. Q-Day. Q-Day. Quantum Zero Day. First, the future estimated around the 2030s to 2040s when quantum computers become powerful enough to break standard encryption, including RSA and ECC, SHA-256, all of them, endangering global digital infrastructure. This threat makes current secure data vulnerable, forcing industries to adopt post-quantum cryptography. It kind of brings to mind an old quote I remember from the old days about archiving everything offline. There's stuff you don't want people getting access to. Any old person, nation states, hackers, one. Get it off the internet now. Or at the very least, get it locked behind more fail-safe type methods, like two-factor authentication stuff, where you have to get a message on your phone that you have to confirm and whatnot before you can ever log in or perform an action anywhere. You better. I know this like goes over a lot of people's heads, the tech stuff. I know a lot of you are from older generations and just not your wheelhouse. But I'm telling you, you better at the very least learn how to secure your data and your passwords, like, fast, within the next month. Because I don't think we're about to hit Q-Day, but we're about to hit something else entirely with just AI models themselves. It's not gonna be quite this bad, but it's gonna be bad. So you better prepare. You better get ready. Enable two-factor authentication on every account you got. Tie it to your phone. Use one of those authenticator apps. I think they even have like little physical, although those might be out too. No, that might be defeated by this stuff. Not sure how that works. Get it secured, dude. And play around with these tools. They're fun. It's a massive amount of fun. You can, by the way, excellent, just all-around tool. Aside from hacking, you can just point this at anything, like any application that is breaking or not working, throwing an error message at you or something, and you can just say, "Hey, here's the error message I'm getting. Can you fix it for me?" And it'll just done. Or you can point it at an app and say, "Hey, optimize the settings in this app for me for my specific setup," and it'll research your setup, your computer, all your, the GPU you got, CPU you got, all your system specs, and it'll look at the kind of work you're doing, and it'll, bang, just optimize all the settings for a given app, like that. It's amazing. It blew my mind first time I tried it. Insane. Yep. Highly recommend using or learning how to use just the basics. It doesn't take much. Most of you could probably do it. It's as simple as just installing it. You type a single line of code into a terminal, a few words, and it downloads it. And you start it up by just typing the word Claude and point it at a specific folder in your Explorer, and right click somewhere and just say open in terminal. It'll pop up a terminal window in that folder. Type Claude and it'll go to town. If you ever have computer troubles, I'm telling you, like, learn how to use this thing. It'll solve it. It'll fix it. No question. It's that good. Okay, let's see. Onward. Soon at the airport. Getting confronted. Oh no, that's Whip Clark. Oops. Here's the
Resolve working. How you feeling? Resolved.
What's that?
Are you thinking everything's resolved, working out well? The House going to do their job?
Well, we'll see. We made some temporary headway, but we got a lot of work to do still.
And if you were confused by anything I was saying there, by the way, about using Claude, just go to YouTube and like look for just basic tutorials on how to use it. You'll find countless. Quad code for total beginners. Yeah, there you go. Probably find way shorter ones than those. Definitely a nice skill to have in your back pocket. For real, you can do so much. So much. It opened up so many paths to me that were previously just completely closed. I would never have had any hope of being able to figure out any of this stuff on my own. Like, it's coding custom stuff for me. It's incredible. Like, it'll add features, custom features to stuff if you ask it. It's nuts. Amazing. Pretty hard to deny the utility. It's mind-blowing. Missing aid boats have safely reached Cuba, the U.S. confirms. They got lost on the way. Marsha Blackburn seen leaving D.C. around 6 p.m., just hours before the 2 a.m. unanimous Senate vote on funding paychecks for TSA, FEMA, and Coast Guard. You can tell how guilty she is by how they tried to stop it from being filmed. Oh. Her staff for aides. Blocked. Blocked. You got the body blocker. Sneaky, sneaky, Marcia. No King's protesters march and rally against Trump admin in Twin Cities. Oh, look who it is. All over. Here we are again. Oh, Jane Fonda, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, and Bruce Springsteen. Oh, wow, C-SPAN. What a great panel. What? I just, pardon me. Sorry. I just made it through TSA for American Airlines at LGA in about 1 minute. Easy as could be. Place is full of ICE police taking IDs and staffing the bin drop-off points, which is usually run by TSA. Clearly making a difference. Getting it done. That's good. Sir. Oh, well. JD Vance's anti-fraud task force not holding back. All right, let's hear it.
Exclusively with us. They plan to, I have it here, which was shared exclusively with us. They plan to focus on what they call high-speed, low-verification programs. You're looking at the full list of the programs right now Trump is focusing on. It includes Medicare, Medicaid, which spends $2 trillion a year. They're also looking into the Department of Labor's unemployment insurance's $43 billion with the B a year spending spree. And yesterday, the task force hosted its first meeting.
Americans have turned over trillions of their tax dollars to social welfare programs to help their neighbors and fellow citizens through hard times. They've done so on the basis of social trust, the belief that their governments, state and federal, will do the right things with their dollars. If we fail to address it, the fabric of our nation will swiftly unravel.
Jaw-dropping betrayal. White House anti-fraud task force vice chair reveals the Biden admin turned off fraud protections in tens of billions worth of welfare programs under the excuse of COVID. What? Huh? Tell me more.
Said that the Biden administration turned off the fraud protections. Why would your predecessors do that?
You're going to have to ask them. The excuse that I often heard at the beginning was that they turned it off because of COVID, and they didn't want people in COVID not to get money that they were entitled to. But they just kept it off. And so one of the first tasks that all of the agency members of the task force have been given by me is that they have to write a report that is going to explain what the Biden administration did for 4 years to perpetuate fraud and what we've done immediately to turn all those systems back on. And that's one of the first things we're trying to get a handle on is how bad did it get? Why did it get that way? Who was responsible for that? And what have we done to at least turn those systems back on? But then there's a lot more to do. A lot of these agencies need to develop technological solutions to automate fraud preventions. With the right type of data, a lot of our fraud assessments can be made automatically. You don't necessarily need a human sort of checking every individual thing. You can create automated systems that can flag potential fraudulent payments, and that's the way you really stop the fraud. It's not just prosecutions, although those are incredibly important. There aren't enough prosecutors in America to recover all the fraudulently taken money. The way to really stop the fraud, the way to really protect the American taxpayer is to keep it in the agency, to prevent it from going out the door, and that's what we're going to help the agencies do, is build up better systems, automatic systems to prevent fraud, to detect fraud, and to work with the Department of Justice to go after the people who do get the money through fraud.
Nice. Good. Do it. They're putting up fake Trump posts now. Oh, deleted. Delete. Oh. Here we go again. An NGO called Indivisible. Remember them? Been around a while. Is organizing nationwide protests on March 28th for another No King's Day. The Indivisible NGO is, funded by Soros. Oh, here's DC. Oh, joy. They are joined by a giant inflatable they called Trump's flaming ass rump. Okay.
Make way for the king and his entourage. Nice. Yeah.
Dude. Mental hospitals. More of them. We need them. People need rehabilitation. This is the first time in the history of the U.S., Jane Fonda says, that an authoritarian regime has broken through.
We're black. I'm speaking from the vantage point of a white person.
Oh, no, you're not allowed to do that, ma'am. No.
I think
bad white person.
Black people in this country,
bad white person,
have experienced authoritarianism. I mean, Jim Crow, where there were no rights for people who were black. This is the first time in the history of the United States that an authoritarian regime has broken through. And worldwide, historians who study these things, they all agree.
You want to find one for me?
It has never happened so fast in any industrialized democracy. He is moving to consolidate very, very fast, which means that right now we have to use the tools we have to stop it. I'm speaking.
Krispy Kreme to launch limited donut for Artemis 2 moon mission. Well, it better launch. Jeez. For all these delays and shit every damn time. A pretty fancy donut though. Red, white, and blue. Dig. Guess I would if I were a donut person. Desperate rep. I'm very picky about my donuts. I need, like, this ain't it. Nope, I won't touch that shit. But like fresh fried, like fresh out of the deep fryer. Oh, you bet. Like real deal fresh donuts. Fuck. Give me that. Give me that. No. Not so much. All right, desperate Rep Eric Swalwell may have broken ethics rules. Hitting up colleagues for AI cash? What? Eh? Hey, what does that even mean? I need money for my Claude subscription? Or what? They were really hitting everyone up. Oh, a startup. His fledgling AI company. He's starting an AI company. Are you really? Swalwell and Yardina Wolf, who left the congressman's office last year, made numerous attempts to hawk their startup, Findraiser. What does it do? Well, here's his business partner, I guess. Swalwell may have even used the company as a legislative negotiating tactic. Oh, man. The only way to get Swalwell to sign on to your bills is if you take this weird call from his chief of staff about a certain business opportunity. Wow, man. Not looking good for Eric. Best of luck on that AI company, though, buddy. All right, Marco Rubio, Rubio, calling out Zelensky's a liar.
The U.S. tells Zelensky that security guarantees depend on withdrawal from Donbass.
That's a lie. And I saw him say that, and it's unfortunate he would say that because he knows that's not true, and that's not what he was told. What he was told is the obvious. Security guarantees are not going to kick in until there's an end to a war, because otherwise you're getting yourself involved in the war. Okay, what is a security guarantee? It is troops that are willing to step in and secure. If you put that in place now, that means you're injecting yourself in the war. What he was told very clearly, and he should have understood it, is that the security guarantees come only after there is an end to the war. But that was not attached to unless he gives up territory. I don't know why he says these things. They're just not true.
What is the U.S. position on Donbass?
We've told the Ukrainian side what the Russians are insisting on. We're not advocating for it. We've explained it to them. It's their choice to make. It's not for us to make for them. We've never told them they have to take it or leave it. The role we have played is to try to figure out what both sides want and see if we can bridge the middle ground. The decision ultimately is up to Ukraine. If they don't want to make certain decisions or certain concessions, then the war keeps going.
Okay, Rubio again.
This is not going to be a prolonged
on Iran
conflict. The objectives I've outlined to you, again, I repeat them because I see these reports as like the U.S. is not clear on what objectives are. We've been as clear as you can possibly be from the very first night of what the objectives of this mission are. We're going to destroy their factories that make missiles and rockets and drones. We're going to destroy their Navy. We're going to destroy their Air Force. And we are going to significantly destroy their missile launchers so they can never hide behind these things to get a nuclear weapon. We are achieving all those objectives. We are ahead of schedule on most of them. And we can achieve them without any ground troops, without any. Now, in terms of why there's deployments, number one, the president has to be prepared for multiple contingencies, which I'm not going to discuss in the media. And again, I refer you to the Department of War, who will probably tell you the exact same thing. But we can achieve all of our objectives without ground troops, but we are always going to be prepared to give the president maximum optionality and maximum opportunity to adjust to contingencies should they emerge. This is not going to be a prolonged conflict. The objectives
MAGA patriots showing up to blast God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood at the No Kings protest in West Palm.
25, 100. This guy 50. He goes for 50. How much I pay? 50. It's USA. Ho ho. Hey hey. The fascist USA. Ho ho. Hey hey. The fascist USA. Sorrow, you get paid. You guys are getting paid. I know what communism is. I know what communism is. USA. planning all the future. There you go. Come on. Bring it on. All of you are planning the future generation. See, this kid.
Good golly. Miss Molly. Say hello to Katie Beth D in Michigan. Still Democrat candidate for Michigan Senate who now works for Lazy Boy Furniture. Likes to take dolls of President Trump, pierce them with pins, and mimic lynching them. Hobby. Oh, and make videos of it. Doll stuff. Oh, she's putting the pins in his. Oh, that's just. Oh. In the blender? Witches, dude. New York City lawmakers trying to pass a bill that would make the city go completely dark after 11 p.m. So insane. So insane. I mean, in the city that never sleeps, huh? You're gonna... Really?
That never sleeps may be going dark. Lawmakers in New York City are trying to pass a new bill that some critics are calling a criminal's dream. It would force the businesses, residents, and iconic...
And it's just cringe as heck. I mean, criminal thing aside, like... What about the nightlife? New York is known worldwide for that. Why you just want to just just shut it down?
Landmarks to go completely dark from 11
because birds
7 p.m. until 5 a.m. The goal is to save energy, avoid light pollution, help migratory birds. Not everyone is on board. One ex-user reacted to the legislation, writing, quote, "Criminal gangs approve this message."
Oh, insane, dude. They could probably start, rather than just turning all the lights off, just do away with those garbage shithole LEDs that have popped up everywhere in place of tungsten, which looked nice. I'll even take fluorescent over that. Just, yeah, toss the LEDs. It's probably a bigger part of the problem. Get some weaker tungsten bulbs that aren't that nasty, like bright white daylight color. Nice, warm, soft, gentle tungsten glow. I don't think the birdies are going to be bothered by that. And it'll feel nicer too. Easier on the eyes and the brain. I hate modern LEDs. I mean, they're great for film, like filming videos and stuff. Very convenient, but when it comes to like cool lighting, general lighting, no thank you. I mean, just look at that. So ugly. In her new memoir, actress Christina Applegate shares devastating diary entries from the time she got pregnant, but sacrificed her child in 1991. What, like literally, or? Well, I guess, I mean, yeah, you're sacrificing it for your career. May as well be a sacrifice. Okay. I always felt that if I ever got pregnant when I knew it was the wrong time, I wouldn't have any problem having an abortion. Oh, whatever. It isn't even a baby yet. That's bullshit. This creature's incredible. Makes me feel whole, safe. But then you did it anyway? I'm effing pregnant and I'm killing my child on Thursday. I'm thinking, where the F can I go to recuperate from murder? Went on to write a poem. Oh, that'll help. Asking for forgiveness. I don't even want to read that. Creepy. Oh, here's a nice look at a wonderful little libtard lady.
I just learned that Peter Hegseth did not give two black
Got the whole nine, man. Bob cut glasses, blue shirt.
female officers a promotion. Why? Because our
She checks all the boxes.
dictator, Trump, didn't want to stand on the podium next to female black officers. We're coming for you. You dumb
Oh, come on.
fucker.
Who believes that shit?
This tired old biddy is so tired of this shit. This tired old biddy is so tired of this shit. No King's Day tomorrow, people. Be ready.
They like grow them on trees or something. Not the same. Carbon copies.
Good morning, y'all. Happy Friday. Fuck Donald Trump.
This is a teacher.
This asshole got up on behind a podium and kept saying, "Oh no, it's not a war. No, can't say war. No war. Can't say war. We're going to call it a military operation because if we call it a war, I hear if we call it a war, we're going to have to get approval for that." Yes, asshole, you needed approval for this, and just because you say it's not a war, it's a freaking war, dumbass. How stupid do you think we are? Also, he's up here defending the fact that we shot down 3 of our own F-15s just because the soldiers survived. He's calling that a win. What the actual fuck? Seriously? If this man, I'm going to remind everybody, if this man had not raped and tortured children, we would not be in this position. And some of you thought he was the lesser of two evils. How do you feel now? How do you feel
Feeling pretty good, actually.
now? Because he is not the lesser of two evils. You were sorely,
Yep, just checked. I'm feeling great.
sorely mistaken. I am so sick of Donald Trump. I can't fucking stand it. I am ready for the man to move to the other side. It appears as his health is not great, so fingers crossed that happens soon, because I'm so sick of looking at his face. I'm sick of hearing his name. I am sick and tired of all the shit he's doing. And I think a lot of the people in the world agree with me. So hope everybody has a good day. Today is Green Day. I am able to wear my little pink and green shoes. I was excited about that.
Okay. Well then. She does this every day, by the way. Begins every video, every day, with F Donald Trump. And a subsequent meltdown. Rip Mike Collins spotted in the TSA security line without security. My man. Not cheating like the others. Mike Lee eviscerates Republican and Democrat senators who just want to go home. Gosh darn it.
This morning.
Understandable. And yet we have a...
Yeah, you know, I just want to go home too. Home to, you know, the country that I remember from when I was a kid. The one that didn't suck. Yeah.
Job to do when you've got 260,000 employees working in a department that's very important to our national security, to say nothing of the president's central agenda. And when you've got the Senate, which just took a recess a few weeks ago, right at the beginning of this shutdown, contrary to my strong advice, we took a recess then, and I warned my colleagues then, if we do this, we will lose leverage that we will not get back, and it will get even harder. So this is cascaded. So look, I understand why people want to go home. DC's not the most pleasant place all the time, but that is our job. If you don't want to fight fires, don't become a firefighter. If you don't want to take grueling votes at difficult hours and sometimes have to work longer than you want to, maybe you shouldn't become a United States Senator.
I think constituents hear that and they say thank you. I want to play this for you. This is what James...
Yep. Jack Fust, no idea who that is, traveled from Milwaukee to Nancy Pelosi's office to present her with an award. Oh, an award in trading! Oh, she won an award for being such a good stock trader!
You can't report in the office.
Oh, yeah? You can't insider trade either. Knock, knock. Hello. How are you? We had emailed. We came all the way from Milwaukee to present different people with awards. Man, it's such a remarkable award. We think about people that have been public servants for a long time, like what, since 1987? We're giving her a Lifetime Achievement Award in trading. The return she's gotten, better than hedge funds for so many years, is so remarkable. And it's like, to do that as a public servant, it's like, you're working overtime for us, the Americans. So,
oh my God, this is such a good idea. This is fantastic.
Oh, is it? Well, insider trading's not allowed either. So
who
Nancy,
are you and how do I follow you, sir?
This one,
big shout out, Nancy.
is for you. Nancy, you're great. So we're gonna do the numbers, guys. So she came into Congress at 1987, worth $3 million. How
much is she worth now?
Worth now $317 million.
I think
you can't report in the office.
Oh yeah? You can't insider trade either.
This is not an office.
Okay.
So whatever footage you have of the office, that's fine. You can record me out, that's fine.
Yeah.
In this hallway, fine. Inside the office, can't do that.
Okay.
She doesn't own any stocks, just so you know.
You review this page with us then?
That's a lie.
She's been.
It's
oh, her husband owns it. Her husband does it.
Yeah, her husband owns all the stock. That's right. That's who.
Is that her?
Folks, a common excuse you'll hear from politicians when confronted on outrageous trades is my spouse is the one trading, not me.
This is the humiliation ritual our politicians do.
I knew our content creation would take us to here someday. We made it,
We
dog.
made it. Now we're rich.
We made it. I think there's
Genius, guys. Whoever you are, bravo. Who are these guys? Where can I follow? There you go, Grok. Do your thing. Get it, get it, get it. Cook. Hey, all right, there we go. Urgent News Network, I guess. Huh. No such luck on that, but give them a follow too. Hilarious. Excellent. All right, next. 200 million in U.S. taxpayer dollars through U.S. aid was sent back to the U.S. from Ukraine in order to fund Biden's re-election. I don't think you can do that.
The United States government, the National Security Agency, intercepted conversations of President Zelensky's government in Ukraine in 2022, late 2022, conspiring with federal workers at the USAID to come up with a plan to take $200 million of USAID money. That is your money, folks, taxpayer money, route it through a series of transactions, move it into the United States, and launder it into Joe Biden's 2024 campaign and the Democratic National Committee. We have the intercepts for the first time. Tulsi Gabbard's team was willing to declassify them. There is now an investigation underway, beginning with USAID, to look at who was involved, whether any
starting to come together yet?
crimes were committed, and if that is the case, to refer that to the FBI in the next few days. Those declassified documents up at justthenews.com. You can go check about it today. Members of Congress have been clamoring all day to get their hands on the documents. I expect Tulsi Gabbard to make a statement later tonight on where things are evolving in her investigation. But we've gone from the era of weaponization, where the primary tool was using prosecutors and FBI agents to disable Donald Trump and his followers and all the good people around him, to now potentially conspiring with foreign powers to have an impact on our elections. We had the Ukraine stuff this morning, and remember what we told you 3 weeks ago, proof from the FBI.
Don't forget that little old grand jury in Florida and Mr. John Brennan, among others, Schiff, Comey,
that China sent thousands, tens of thousands of driver's licenses to the United States with fake names to get fake ballots to vote for Joe Biden in the 2020 election. Those aren't my words. Those are the words of the FBI informant in the FBI documents that we made public a few months ago. So China possibly conspiring with Joe Biden and the Democrats, and now possibly Ukraine. 2 investigations underway. We're going to keep you apprised of that right now.
Massive international conspiracy. And I guarantee you that ain't it yet. There's more to come. There's more countries than just that. Watch. Viktor Orban said that Zelensky redirected a portion of the $200 billion sent by Biden to Ukraine, laundered to the Democrats for the 2024 election.
Tegnap kiderült, hogy Zelenszky elnök az amerikai elnök.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to have to read this out, I guess. Yesterday it was revealed that President Zelensky directed money to the pro-Ukraine candidate in the presidential election against Donald Trump. In other words, Ukrainian funds were used to support the Democrats' campaign. They're doing the same now in Hungary. They want a pro-Ukraine government. They're sending Ukrainian agents, and they are helping the pro-Ukraine opposition. The investigation into the Ukrainian gold convoy has also uncovered that money was not only flowing from the West to Ukraine, but in the opposite direction as well, which is almost probably the whole point. One big washing machine. In other words, from impoverished Ukraine, billions of dollars were continuously transported westward through Hungary. We also know that much of this money was transferred to the United States. Nothing is too costly for President Zelensky. He pays in Ukrainian gold and dollars those who are willing to support Ukraine's war. We will put an end to this in Hungary, Orban says. Tom Homan confirming here, even more ICE agents are being unleashed into airports today after getting hours of TSA training. But yeah, they've been hiring big time. They've been making their hiring pushes for sure. Got the numbers up.
Plants in place. ICE plans are already decreased. They're not where they need to be, but the plans in place. ICE agents need to be trained in certain aspects. That training is ongoing. Matter of fact, I think today a lot more ICE agents are being released into those jobs because they spent the last few days doing that training. So look, the federal security director there and the TSA administrator are all over this. You know, the lines would be a lot worse than it was for men and women at ICE. And look, these disparaging comments, if you want ICE out of the airport, then pay TSA. If you want ICE out of the airport, then fund DHS. I mean, it's simple. But the bottom line is they're putting the protection of illegal aliens over those American citizens, patriots who are serving this nation. Whether it's in the Coast Guard, whether it's in TSA, whether it's in CISA, these men and women are serving their nation. And look, I've been involved in these negotiations. They want to cripple ICE. They want policy restrictions so they're less effective. They want less aliens arrested, and that's why the Department of Homeland Security shut down.
Okay. Hold on. There we go. Washington, D.C. has never been more safe and beautiful thanks to the Department of the Interior.
As we prepare...
Oh, yeah, the cherry blossoms are out, man. Oh, my God. I was just there, obviously, a few days ago when I was out for my show. Wednesday and Thursday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, they are in full bloom. Oh, it's so stunning. It never gets old. I've lived here all my life, and still just makes you just stop. Like you come around a corner and see it all around that big pool of water. It just makes a double take every time. It is stunning. One of the greatest gifts we've ever received from another nation. Lovely. Thank you, Japan. Mapping the money. Group pushing Virginia voters to approve a referendum, allowing Democrats to redraw congressional maps gerrymander, has received over $38 million from fewer than a dozen left-wing entities in the past 3 months. They really want Virginia, dude. Bad. Full and total control, including the George Soros-backed Fund for Policy Reform, Inc. Soros' latest effort targets Virginia's congressional map, which could shift from 6 Democrats and 5 Republicans to 10 Democratic-leaning districts and 1 Republican-leaning district. Can you imagine? Like, how is this at all acceptable? Insane. And yet they'll push it through. They'll make it one way or another. They talk about us being autocrats. Get my ass. Frank Bisignano oversees not 1 but 2 of America's most consequential institutions, the Social Security Administration and IRS.
That people who weren't alive any longer were getting paid Social Security. It was that there was a live Social Security number which could be used throughout the whole system. That's where you're going to have fraud, waste, and abuse.
Today I sit down with Frank Bisignano, who oversees not 1 but 2 of America's most consequential institutions, the Social Security Administration, SSA, and the Internal Revenue Service, IRS. Before stepping into government, he built a career at the very top of finance. CEO of Pfizer, co-COO of JP Morgan Chase, and the youngest senior vice president in American Express history at just 25. Now he's taking on a different kind of challenge, bringing, in his words, accuracy to massive federal agencies that impact every American.
We have inaccurate information on a mission-critical file, and we've cleaned that up.
What does it take to streamline systems this complex? And can Social Security really survive the decades ahead? This is American Thought Leaders, and I'm Yanya Kellek.
He's a cool guy, by the way. Jan. Okay. I see him every so often. Harbored illegal alien Nicaragua gang members sentenced to just 1 year in prison for multiple ATM robberies across Minnesota.
And 2 of 4 men accused in an ATM jackpotting scheme in Detroit Lakes have been sentenced. Snyder Yoris Torres and Anthony Sanchez Paez were each given 1 year in the Becker County jailhouse, along with 2 years of unsupervised probation. 2 other men are also charged in this case and are still moving through the court system. In February, the men broke into an ATM's internal computer and used software to force the machine to spit out cash. 2 of 4 men accused in an ATM jackpotting scheme.
How about that?
and are still moving through the court system. In February, the men broke into an ATM's internal computer and used software to force the machine to spit out cash.
They're hacking. These retards are hacking ATM machines. Wouldn't be shocked if AI had a part in that somehow. Crazy. Designing the tool. Sweet heist. Nestle says 12 tons of Kit Kats were stolen. Huge shipment of Nestle's crunchy Kit Kat chocolate bars were stolen in Europe. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Guess they did. Oh, this was nuts, dude. Yeah, I read this one this morning. A woman visits the ER for back pain I think it's in Canada. And the nice young lady doctor, right off the bat, walks in there and just offers assisted suicide. Yes, seriously, really. Came in for back pain. And the nice young lady doctor walked in there, and the very first words out of her mouth were, "We would like to offer you MAID, assisted suicide, euthanasia." I was taken aback. That was the last thing on my mind. I just wanted to find out why I was in pain. I didn't want to die. Oh, fuck. What? I don't think this is the first time I've heard things like this either coming out of there. People being offered it when they haven't asked for it, you know, in situations where they probably wouldn't want to ask for it. Not that you ever would, really, but you know what I mean. Crazy. Scary. Oh, and by the way, she went and did some rehab and was fine and climbed a volcano a month or so later. Yeah. So much for that suicide option. Crazy Carlin. She's a kook, but she does do good work. Crazy Carlin Borisenko, anti-communist cult leader. Not far off. Today, I'm organizing the largest all-volunteer army of infiltrators to attend No Kings events nationwide undercover to collect intelligence. We'll be in 31 states and 47 cities, including at major sites like Minneapolis, New York City, Los Angeles, Seattle, and more. Nice. Good for you, gal. You've been nuts, but you know what? More power to you. Good for you. Okay, who dis? Savannah Hernandez, yeah. Gives deep dives into her Skid Row investigation. Oh. Exposing petitioners bribing the homeless.
Caught on tape the guy with the jewelry. And is in Los Angeles.
I mean, we got more to get to. I'll skip that. Oh no, we'll watch at least a little bit of it. Yeah.
In Los Angeles, Savannah. Savannah joins us by phone. Savannah, we were attacked on Friday, and we confronted the guy that you caught on tape, and we caught on tape the guy with the jewelry. I just want to play the clip, jewelry on his cheek. I just want to play this video from your report. This was Savannah Hernandez tape from Los Angeles, California, where he's given out, was it cigarettes? Just cue this up for the audience on what you exposed.
Oh, absolutely, James. So basically what we went out and uncovered was, of course, these petitioners going around and essentially bribing the homeless to sign petitions that would verifiably change California election law. Now, the individuals that we confronted were very violent, as you guys unfortunately experienced, but this is what we caught on camera. Check it out.
All right, so let's play the clip from Savannah confronting this guy, giving out consideration for signatures.
All right, y'all, this is Savannah Hernandez on Skid Row, and this man behind me was actually caught bribing homeless to sign petitions, which is illegal per California election law.
Did you want to sign up, sir?
I don't know where this is.
Free signatures. If you sign the petition, you get a cigarette.
Sure.
Perfect. Yes, of course, sir. Thank you. You're helping change California laws.
I actually have you on camera saying that
has me on camera handing out cigarettes. Yeah.
Yes,
you signed the petition.
Per
How is it
election
illegal if you sign a cigarette?
California.
If you sign, you're gonna get something. You're not even being a good investigative
Well,
journalism.
I'm actually trying to ask
You're not doing any investigative journalism. Get the out of here. You don't belong here.
They're doing that all day long. I watch them when they tell people that if they get, sign up, they'll give them X amount of money and all that stuff.
This is Savannah Hernandez in Los Angeles on Skid Row. Now, I have been a part of a multi-journalist investigation targeting alleged voter.
Now let's go to the clip of the same dude, Savannah, that you caught on tape, was on a different tape. I think Cam got it. We got it. On camera, also giving away drugs for votes. That's 202 SOT. Let's play that clip.
You guys got a light?
Yes. Did you want to sign the petition? You get a free cigarette.
Oh, what is this?
Just stricter policies on Uber drivers for women sexual harassment. You get a free cigarette when you sign.
What kind? What kind?
USA Gold. That's what we got.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. What company or what work?
Now we've also got the same guy giving away weed for signatures on the California petitions. I mean, he's been caught so many times in broad daylight. Play that clip.
I don't have a California address.
Why somebody
What?
Sign a petition, get a free cigarette.
One cigarette?
Well, I just need one signature right here and right here. You get 2 cigarettes.
But it wasn't just cash that we saw exchanged for signatures. We also saw the homeless being bribed with cigarettes and even drugs, marijuana, and all of that is considered valuable consideration. So, Savannah, did you see the tape of them assaulting Andrew, my producer, on Friday?
I did. And, it was so unfortunate to see that, but I also wasn't surprised in the slightest because of how aggressive these men were with the undercover journalists that I was working with. Honestly, James, I was nervous to go down there in Skid Row because we all know how dangerous that environment is. So we had a man go in as my undercover journalist to go do this, and I'm happy that we did because, as you guys saw, this guy was extremely aggressive and very, very violent.
And you were standing right there. We just saw you on camera right in front of that guy. You were standing. You had security with you?
I did have security with me, thanks to your team, James. And again, that's why everybody needs to be supporting James in the Citizen Justice League, because we are going out on the ground and doing this. And, you were talking about how people in the comments right now, James, are like, well, nobody's doing anything, nobody's going to get arrested. But this is people doing something, us highlighting how this guy has been on the ground again and again and again. And more importantly, James, it just goes to show how blatant the criminal activity is in California, where you have the same guy who was confronted, caught on camera, exposed, still going and doing this every single day, and then these people getting violent because they feel so entitled to this criminal activity.
I mean, you're very brave for as a woman going there. I mean, we went there as a bunch of guys. I mean, you're standing right in front of this guy. Thank God this guy didn't attack you. If you could just stay on with us as we play the audience, as we show the audience what happened to us on Friday, where this guy that you just saw with the piercing in his face, we walked up to him. These are the attack clips from Friday. The OMG team went to Skid Row on Friday to interview this man with our microphone. Kind of a miracle we even found him. And then we did find him. We walked up to his car, and they attacked us. So let's roll this tape.
Whoa, 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 whoa. We can get it. He's going slow. He's going slow. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
There he is.
This is so ridiculous.
There he is with the piercing in his face. I saw a police. That's our producer right there, and that sound is the sound you actually hear from the iPhone that he's holding. That is not a post-production sound effect. Punched us in the neck. I saw cops on the street. Savannah, I saw police officers on the street, and I said, why aren't you arresting these people? And they were like, I can't get involved. I can't comment. I guess Savannah, we're gonna break this down further, but what's been the reaction to your reporting? I saw Jack Posobiec reposted it, but what's been the reaction so far with what you've exposed and what you've published?
We got response from the Secretary of State. We also got response from the DA's office. They said that they're going to be opening a file for preliminary review, which sounds very vague to me, so I'm going to make sure to continuously follow up and make sure that the DA's office is actually doing something about this. Because, again, James, like we saw, these clips went viral. The American public very much likes seeing this type of footage, these types of confrontation, because they know this criminal activity and this fraud is taking place on the streets of California every single day. And like you were just talking about, James, the police are watching this happen and they just don't do anything about it because the crime and fraud in California is so overwhelming that, to be quite honest with you, not only are their hands tied, but it's like, where do they even begin? Here would be a great start. So we're going to be, again, following up with the DA. We're going to be continuously following up with the Secretary of State until something is done about this, because the viral videos are great and exposing that this is happening to the American people is incredible. But again, we need to hold these officials' feet to the fire, because the fact that this has been happening again and again, and the fact that these criminals are so entitled to their criminal activity, it's quite frankly embarrassing for the state of California.
Well, I'm glad that you're holding the Secretary of State accountable. It seems on my end, the Secretary of State's office is taking this very seriously. The LA DA has opened up a preliminary review, but is not committing to anything beyond that. The Secretary of State office is seriously looking into this, so we'd like you to keep us updated on anything on your end. My recommendation is you need to hold the feet to the fire. Education is extremely important. Educating people is so important, but without accountability, there's nothing. So what's next for you on this beat? Are you planning to do any other journalism, or is it really focused on holding the Secretary of State's feet to the fire?
Yeah, I think we're going to continue forward in making sure there's follow-up on this, but I think even just being back on the ground and continuing to report on this same exact story would be great, just because, obviously this is something that's been going on for years, and I think it would be good to continuously have journalists highlighting this. So I actually do, after seeing your guys' videos come out, want to go back on the ground and just keep highlighting how this is still happening.
Well, I don't say be safe, I say be competent. I think that's a good idea, provided you have a plan with a lot of security. And I mean, we got 50 messages from people wanting to help us with security. So thank you, Savannah, member of the Justice League. Savannah, are you excited about the Justice League?
Oh, absolutely, James. It's awesome to have other people who I have been reporting on the street with for years. We're finally in a coalition, and we're finally kind of just bringing all of our power, all of our audience, all of our influence together to actually get things done. So it's pretty awesome.
We're expanding. We're the Knights of the Round Table. 5 or 6 or 7 of us are going to become maybe 8 or 9 or 10 of us. It's going to. Thank you, Savannah. Developing story. I'll talk to you soon. My team and I spend most of the time on the road, living out of a suitcase. I spent most of the year traveling the country, including internationally, on the weekends, exposing corruptions.
Interesting. All right. What? This is a joke, right?
All right, guys, tomorrow's the day, May 28th, no Kings protests across the country. We're going to try to make another point. We're going to do this again because last time it was so successful that Donald Trump got that message. Oh, yes, he did, loud and clear. We're not going to have a dictator in this country. We're not going to have a king running the monarchy. We're going to stand up and we're going to go into the streets. We're going to bring signs. We're going to bring loud horns. We're going to dye our hair rainbow colors. We're going to wear strap-ons. We're going to wear assless chaps. We are going to make a point. The more colorful you are, the better. We want Trump to know we don't want a king. So grab all your friends, grab your accessories, and make sure you meet in the park tomorrow at 9 a.m., March 28th. Tag a bestie in here and make sure they come. And remember, there will never be a king in this monarchy. Monarchy.
What on earth? Love it. The tinfoil is great. Footage of the No Kings protest in Greensboro, North Carolina. Practically all professionally made signs. Funniest part is, like, this is all stuff that they themselves are guilty of. Every last one. They just got through doing when they were in power. Every last one of these. By the way, look at the demographics here. 1, 2, that's definitely 3, 2. Up 3, 4, 5, yep. 6, yep. Can't tell what that one is. This poor cuck got dragged along by this. 7, yep. 8, yep. 9, yep. Oh, this one got dragged along. 9, dragged along. 10, 11. All moronic, boomer, no offense, lefty women. All in a very specific mold, too. Okay. French counterterrorism investigating after a man was arrested for reportedly trying to set off a homemade explosive device outside a Bank of America in Paris, alleging that he was recruited to do it via Snapchat for 600 euros. Second man fled the scene. That's creepy. 600 euros? Yes. U.S. Supreme Court is about to consider upholding President Trump's executive order that ends birthright citizenship for illegal aliens and migrants who cheat the system. Yes, please.
Slated to revisit it. This is a Fox News alert. Next week, the Supreme Court is slated to revisit President Trump's birthright citizenship executive order.
Fuck this one up,
Now, it
Supreme
directs
Court.
all U.S. government agencies to refuse issuing citizenship documents to children born to illegal immigrants or children who do not have at least one parent who is an American or a lawful permanent resident. Now, it's a law President Trump says is in place all over the world, and he's right. You're looking at that map. And if he wins in court, he would effectively cripple the booming birth tourism industry. You heard me right. Now, that is described by a Senate Homeland Security Committee report in this quote: expecting mothers traveling to the United States to obtain U.S. citizenship for their children. The report goes on to say obtaining U.S. citizenship for their children is a hedged bet, a rainy day fund for a better life. And while birth tourism from China is the most common, people from countries like Russia and Mexico take advantage of it too.
Yep. Here's No Kings in DC. You might get a look at the cherry blossom. Not here. Nope, just that shot. Oh, look, there's the Trump and his flaming ass rump. Is that what they called it? Okay. FBI Director Kash Patel pressing to release a decade-old investigative file involving Rep. Eric Swalwell and a suspected Chinese intelligence operative. Good fun. I want to see it. Why not? A Canadian leftist who attempted to enter the U.S. to join the No Kings protest against Trump in Michigan is speaking out, claiming his rights were violated after he was fingerprinted and required to provide a DNA sample before being removed. Bye-bye.
2¾ hours.
The Kincardine native was heading to a No Kings rally in Port Huron when he was pulled over for a random check at the U.S. border crossing. What happened next shocked him.
They took my picture, took my fingerprints, and about 2¾ hours in, they said, we're not going to allow you entry. But first you have to give a DNA sample. I said no twice. I sat down, and then a supervisor took me to a private room, read me the riot act and the law, and said I can be charged, and if found guilty, it could be up to 1 year in prison.
The Kincardine native was heading to a No Kings rally in Port Huron.
Oh, man. That's hilarious. Gonna happen to a better guy.
One thing that I wanted to...
Oh, yeah, it's the thing I filmed the other day. All right. Let's go over here. What do we got? Fresh business. New York City subways packed with No Kings protesters. Wow. Dallas.
I feel like everybody here is a retard, vaccinated idiot. Look at this crowd. I've never seen a sadder crowd in my life. Bunch of twinks. This is insane. Looking at this. Well, no kings. Literally, just a bunch of vaccinated. Hello, Dallas!
DC. Does that really say unpaid local protester? It does. If you have to write it on a sign, that probably says something, doesn't it?
I gotta say, you're one of the freakiest trans people I've ever seen in my life. I gotta say, I mean, one of the freakiest people I ever seen. Well, not as freaky as you.
Oh man, he wasn't kidding. Whoa.
Can I get a picture of you guys with your sign?
Footage of the No Kings protest in Black Mountain, North Carolina. Nearly every single person, white and over the age of 65.
Showing up,
Bizarre.
It's not a superhero that's going to come to save us, right? It's us. We are the people we've been waiting for. Normal people showing up, speaking out, making it clear that we actually...
And it's very cool. Oh my gosh. Isn't that great?
They great?
Just went up yesterday. Wow. And
Nice
it's
meme.
very cool.
That's fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that great?
They're great. West Hollywood. Mayor John Heilman. Says the vice mayor, the entire city council, and 3 former mayors of West Hollywood are all there in attendance. Boy. Here's McLean, Virginia. My backyard. And also, like, the CIA's front yard.
I am here with, tell me your name. Susan and Tyler Posey. And hi.
Hi, how are
Great
you?
to see you guys. Tell me, you were just saying that you guys were Reagan, George H.W. Bush Republicans, but here
Okay.
you are at the No Kings rally. Tell me what brought you out today.
We have a responsibility for our children and our grandchildren to keep democracy.
Fried. Fucking fried.
It's vitally important.
Another way of putting it is
deep dementia.
Donald Trump brought us out here today.
Yeah.
Just we're just not Republicans. He's taken over the party, and so we have to come out here and express our opinions. We love Liz Cheney.
Yeah.
You don't say.
And
We love our fellow Americans.
And
We are one country. We need to get that back.
Indeed.
And we love the Deport Stephen Miller sign.
Cognitive dissonance. Oh my god. What a sequence of statements.
And we love the Deport Stephen.
We need to get that. We love our fellow Americans. We are one country. We need to get that back.
Indeed.
And we love the Deport Stephen Miller sign.
Unreal.
That was brought by me.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Here, let's get a shot of this. I brought these. I brought extras to give out.
I bet you did.
There we are.
People are insufferable. Worst.
And as I was saying, I used to read your column when it was in the Washington Times when I would ride my bus into working for the government for USAID and later the Peace Corps. And
wow,
I've been a fan for a long time. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much.
Hilarious. Okay. Okay, Robert De Niro is leading, really? Oh my god, with Al Sharpton and Letitia James. Kidding. And whoever this fatso is.
What does No Kings protest mean?
You know, I think it means that the Dow is over 50,000. So that's what we should be paying attention to right now, okay? But really, we're sick and tired of this administration and all the wrongs that they're doing. It makes us sick. Most American people feel the same way. We need to take to the streets and do something about it. We're out here making fun of these insane people that currently have.
What insane people?
Power in the White House.
The people in the White House are insane?
because you have to clown fascists. They hate it. It hurts their ego. And it gets people going.
Atlanta is happening.
What is this? I mean, I assume she's supposed to be Bondi. What is this? Oh boy, they're doing the what's that show? Yeah, that show. You know, The Handmaiden, whatever I forget of it.
Yeah, I hold it so I can take a picture.
Didn't their show end like a decade ago?
Fabulous, ladies. Fabulous.
Garbage show too. Even.
Fabulous.
Have someone else take home. I would be happy.
It was basically just like low-key softcore rape porn for, well, these people.
to take one. It's okay. I mean, oh yeah, you can take what you want. Bring one. I had a digestive upset this week, so. I'll be happy.
Like 50 Shades of Grey, basically, but like worse somehow. Yes. Really, in London?
Of unions, charities, politicians, celebrities.
They're doing a No Kings protest in London, in a country that, well, they have an actual king.
Backers, and one of the people that's going to be performing on the stage, I'm joined.
Yet they're joining a No Kings protest against Donald Trump.
By now is singer Billy Bragg. Look, Billy, this was formed in response at the end of last year to the Unite the Kingdom marches, wasn't it? It explained sort of the thinking.
Fuckers. Meanwhile, in Baltimore.
Bro!
Yep, that's Baltimore for you.
Bro! It's crazy ass! Yeah, I got your ass! Fuck!
Nice. Got him. Car's probably stolen anyway, it won't matter. I'm just being real. It's the truth. Massive. Oh no, we did that. Villages, retirement community in Florida have turned out in huge numbers for No Kings. Oh, shocking. The community in Florida known for being, well, a swingers community for old weirdos. Yeah, go figure. Got for any pom-poms. Whatever it is they use, the little squeegee thing. I forget what they use. They hang them on their golf carts to signify their perversions. See if we can catch any. Fortunately, they're all turned to the front. Good golly. Lab-grown chocolate. Israeli biotech producing it because the lab is cheaper than a farm. Seriously? That's creepy. That's weird.
Is coming to shelves in 2027. Lab-grown chocolate is coming to shelves in 2027. Oreo, Cadbury, and Toblerone are already funding the Israeli biotech producing it because a lab is cheaper than a farm.
Cadbury has been quietly replacing your chocolate every single year. This dairy milk isn't legal chocolate in 27 countries. The cocoa butter was replaced with vegetable fat, a cheap blend of 6 industrial oils. What remains is diluted with polyglycerol.
If that's true, that is ew.
Then flavored with petroleum vanilla to
although never can tell with these.
Mask the waxy taste. Soon, even that gets replaced. You'll be eating cells grown in a pharmaceutical tank. Exposure flagged lead and cadmium traces with an ultra processing warning.
Thanks. All right. Well, I know we're past the top of the hour here. And it's Saturday, so I don't think there's anyone officially on the schedule from 3 to 5. But if anyone, any hosts happen to be listening in and feel up for taking the wheel, feel free to jump in. The floor is open. In the meantime, what else we can do? Oh, wow. Bill Nye the Science Guy spotted at a No King's Day protest in an attempt to taunt Trump. Really, Bill Nye? Freak. Echo.
Extraordinary times require extraordinary actions, and we are living at a very unusual and troubling times. These guys from ICE wearing masks, beating people, shooting them in cold blood in the United States without consequence. People, this goes way back 249 years.
Yeah. I think of stuff we need for like soup and whatnot. We need more shabu meat. They should. What do you mean? They should, yeah, see if they got the last shabu meat. Yeah, we'll get that. If not, we'll just go to H Mart and get it later. All right. Sorry, guys. Grocery stuff. All right, let's see.
And we had a deal. I was going there.
Speaking at the West Hollywood No Kings rally, Mike Farrell of MASH, yeah, the show, calls ICE the Gestapo and Border Patrol the brutes with guns. He decries labeling protesters as domestic terrorists, which I'm sure he was totally fine with when it was January 6th.
Perhaps out of uniform and unmasked, from the Gestapo, also known as ICE, or the Border Patrol, also known as brutes with guns, who might be here spying, looking for decent human beings who are unacceptable to them, who are different. Suspect people because they might be deemed to be potentially illegal because their skin is not satisfactorily white or they speak an accented English.
In no place does that happen, sir.
They may also be,
well, except for the English part,
looking for anyone they decide might be a domestic terrorist, because that person may speak words that suggest opposition to the Trump agenda.
Okay. Oh, De Niro's speaking now.
I support this movement 150%. Yeah. But when the crowds are chanting "No Kings," what I'm really hearing, as we all know, is "No Trump."
That's right.
There have been other presidents who have tested the constitutional limits of their power, but none have been such an existential threat to our freedoms and security. None, except Trump. He must be stopped, and he must be stopped now. Amen. And that's what No Kings is all about.
Oh, what are you going to do about it, Bobby?
Do all the fucked up things that he's been doing without the collusion of Congress.
Go ahead, big boy.
And
I'm big man.
Goons in his administration.
You want to sock him in the face, don't you?
They're bound to
Would you punch him?
By fear of losing their own jobs, their own power. It's diabolical. Afraid of Trump? Please. No, they should be more afraid of us.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Because we still believe in the core American values of justice, equality, decency, and kindness. Because we're going from the streets to the ballot box, and because we all deserve a country with no kings, no Trump. Thank you.
New York State elected officials remind them, we demand New York for All to be passed immediately because it is upon us to protect our communities, and New York for All will do that.
I don't have your list.
So thank you, and let's close out with a quick chant. No war.
A quick chant.
No.
We have to do just a little quick, a little cult incantation. Just one, maybe two.
No ice. No ice. No kings. No kings. No war. No war. No ice. No ice. No kings. No kings. Last time. No war. No war. No ice. No ice. No kings. No kings. Thank you.
Yeah, the looks on their faces as they do it, it's just weird. Bizarre in-group satisfaction they receive from this, like this woman here. Look at this.
No
Look at this
kings.
shit.
No kings.
Oh, she's just so happy.
Last time. No war. No war. No ice. No ice. No kings. No kings. Thank you.
Last night at Mar-a-Lago, Trump honored Tunnel to Towers chairman Frank Siller. Okay, I don't know who that is, but
Done a fantastic job. You know, I gave him a very big medal at the White House years ago now. It was already years ago, but a special man and his brothers looking down and saying, I love that guy. I love that guy. Oh, I'm looking at the back of my head. Look, you see. No bald spot. You look great. You look great. So far, so good. But I just want to congratulate Frank and Tunnels for what you've done, man. It's been amazing. He's coming to the White House very shortly with a big piece of steel from the World Trade Center. It's touring steel. It's touring. And he's going to be right on the front of the White House, right in front of the White House.
oh, Shirley with Vance? What?
Now that we have the fraud task force here inside the United States, what will you guys be doing different than something that we haven't done before to tackle fraud here?
Well, two really big things, Nick. So the first of all is we're going to be coordinating across the government in a way that's really never been done before to focus on anti-fraud. So let's say, for example, that Scott Bessent or somebody at the Secretary of Treasury's office sees a fraudulent payment made, but it's not, it's not at the Treasury Department, it's at the Center for Medicare and Medicaid. There's going to be coordination now so that when one person in the government government sees fraud happening, they're actually telling everybody else so that we can get to the root of it and hopefully prosecute it. And that leads me to my second point, and maybe the most important is, we've never before within the Department of Justice had a committed anti-fraud task force, a committed assistant attorney general who's focused on the fraud issue. What our new AAG focused on fraud has told me that right now we don't even prosecute fraud that's under $1.5 million, which means there's a lot of fraudsters who never get caught, who never get punished. We're changing that too.
So there's people who are making $1.5 million committing fraud, and they used to not be prosecuted. When can we expect to see prosecutions take place, for instance, for example, like the Lears at the Leering Center?
So we just got AAG, our new AAG, confirmed. He hasn't even been sworn in yet. I'll swear him in next week, actually. And look, I think the plan is we got to start doing prosecutions as quickly as possible. These cases take a little while to build. You've got to investigate. You've got to gather evidence. But now that we have that guy set up, now that we have Colin McDonald set up, I think in a matter of months, we should be seeing a significant ramp up in the number of prosecutions that we're seeing.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Of course. Good to meet you, man. Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care.
Let's let the fraudsters lear their lesson the hard way.
That's great.
G7 to help with, Mr. Secretary, are you going to ask G7 to help with the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, it's in their interest to help. The other countries get far more of their fuel from there than we do. So.
But what kind of help are you going to ask? Is it wine sweepers, naval help?
Well, those specifics I'll leave it to the Department of War as to exactly what, but it's in their interest. It's in their national interest.
Do you think President Trump criticizing NATO this morning, that sentiment?
I think he just made an observation, and the observation is that the United States is constantly being asked to help in a war, and we have more than any other country in the world, on a war that's happening in another continent, in Ukraine. But when the U.S. had a need, he didn't get proper positive responses. So right now he's just making the observation that, I think there was a couple of the leaders in Europe who said that this was not Europe's war. Well, Ukraine is not America's war, and yet we've contributed more to that fight than any other country in the world. So it'll be something to examine.
Democracy looks like.
Democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell us what Chicago looks like.
This is what Chicago looks like.
Tell us what freedom looks like.
This is what freedom looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
This is what
democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell us what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Fantastic. Yeah, he was speaking. Yeah, we can check that out, I guess. Is it going on now? Been all over with. Oh no, it is. Okay. I guess we check that out. Tomorrow. Ted Cruz. All right, let's hear Mr. Prince Paolo. Let's hear this guy. Where's the full thing, though? There it is.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sepos Kozara. Sepos.
Getting quite a welcome. Long live Shah? What did they say? I don't know. I can't make it out. Something about the Shah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I had to overcome the flu the last couple of days. but I had to be here to be a voice of millions of my fellow Iranians. So I apologize in advance for my voice. I begin today in the memory of my fallen compatriots, the heroes of my country who have fought, bled, and died, not only for their own freedom and for the liberation of Iran from the clutches of an evil, depraved regime that has held us hostage for 47 years, but for the freedom, peace, and security of the world. When I speak of these heroes as they come off the streets from protests or as they prepare for the final battle, they often ask me, tell the world we are not just fighting for ourselves, we are fighting for them too. So it is in that spirit and in their honor that I ask you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine a free Iran. No more nuclear threats, no more terrorism, no more hostage-taking, no more closing of the Strait of Hormuz, no more blackmailing of the global community. Imagine an Iran that instead of exporting terrorism is promoting freedom. Freedom to its people, stability to its neighbors, national security and economic opportunity for the United States and the free world. Can you imagine Iran going from death to America to God bless America? Well, I too can, because I have seen the true soul of my people. Let's remember, on 9/11, one of America's darkest hours, when your enemies, and even some who claim to be your friends, celebrated those horrific attacks, the Iranian people did something the world wasn't supposed to see. They risked their lives to hold candlelight vigils in the heart of Tehran. They didn't do it for a camera. They did it for a friend in pain. That is the true face of Iran. Unlike the regime that worships death and destruction, the Iranian people celebrate life and liberty. That's why I can imagine an Iran that exports engineers instead of extremists, startups instead of suicide bombers, energy instead of hatred. I can imagine a Middle East where Iran is no longer a source of chaos, but an anchor of stability. An Iran that does not fear its people, doesn't threaten its neighbors, doesn't isolate itself from the world. Imagining this is not difficult, because this is exactly what Iran once was and what it can be again. When Iran is free, the Middle East changes. When Iran is free, America regains a great friend. A free Iran represents the single largest untapped economic opportunity of the 21st century. A nation of 93 million people, highly educated, entrepreneurial, and pro-West, finally unleashed. Over the next decade alone, a strategic U.S.-Iran partnership could generate more than $1 trillion for the American economy. Imagine a new Middle East where Iran is a friend of Israel, where Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Where the Abraham Accords are extended into the Cyrus Accord. Named for Cyrus the Great, the Iranian king who issued the first Charter of Human Rights, and whose vision of religious tolerance inspired Thomas Jefferson. Today, the Islamic Republic tramples upon Iran's millennia-old legacy of tolerance for religious minorities and wages war on them. In a country with the fastest rate of growth of Christianity in the world, the regime, the regime and its IRGC storm into and ransack underground house churches, detain and torture pastors, and persecute and execute evangelists and Christian converts. This is the Islamic Republic, not the true Iran, not the vision we have for the future. Under this vision, Iran, the United States, Israel, and our Arab neighbors are bound together in peace and prosperity rather than conflict and terror. A Middle East where we will be able to handle our own affairs and manage our own backyard, when we can put an end to the endless wars and allow our American friends to bring back their sons and daughters in uniform and focus where they want to, back home. A free Iran is not a fantasy. A free Iran is within reach right now. But as we all know, freedom never comes free. My compatriots have shown this. They are not asking for a handout, and they do not expect their freedom to be handed to them on a silver platter. The Iranian people have already paid an unimaginable price for their liberty. In January of this year, I called on my compatriots to go out and protest against a regime that has oppressed them for 47 years. Millions of them responded, igniting the largest wave of protests in Iran's modern history, sweeping every single one of our 31 provinces. On January 8th at 8 o'clock, they took their lives in their own hands and took to the streets to fight against the occupying regime. At that exact moment, Khamenei, Larijani, Ghalibaf, and the rest of their mafia shut off the internet. Under the cover of darkness, and with a depravity that shocked the world, they massacred more than 40,000 Iranians and injured over 300,000. They did not stop their terror on the streets. Wounded protesters were hunted down in hospital beds and shot in cold blood. Men and women were raped in secret prisons. Even nurses, ambulance medics, and doctors who dared to help protesters were tortured, raped, and killed. Families were forced to search through thousands of unmarked body bags, and the regime even charged grieving parents for the bullets used to kill their own children. To this day, mothers still search for their sons, and daughters still ask where their fathers will come home. To this day, 29 days to be exact, Iranians have been cut off from the world with almost no access to the internet. Fearful of my courageous compatriots, Khamenei Jr. and his cabal of criminals have dragged Iran from the 21st century to the dark ages. They are afraid that when they do, the world will again see the defiant will of a nation united and determined to topple it. Life can never go back to normal. There is a sea of blood between the people and the regime. After all the massacres, after all they have sacrificed, they will never agree to swap one tyrant for another. And another anti-American tyrant will not serve American interests either. The only thing that the remnants of this regime can be relied on to do is to buy time, to cheat, and to steal. They will never be honest or true partners for peace. President Trump was right when he said, "We don't want to come back every 2 years." But if a faction of the regime is left in power, that is exactly what will happen. It will buy time. It will pretend to negotiate. And then it will return to its old jihadist ways of threatening America, its security, and its interests. They might promise a short period of artificial calm, but it would inevitably be followed by the same terrorism, the same nuclear blackmail, and the same cries of death to America. Because the truth is simple. The Islamic Republic cannot reform itself. You cannot reform a snake. Venom is in its DNA. This extends to the corrupt and brutal thugs of the IRGC, because the IRGC is not Iran's national army. Indeed, it does not even have the word Iran in its name. It is the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. It serves its own poisonous ideology of terror and not Iran's national interests. So it can certainly never be a partner to serve America's interests. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have 4 minutes left. I'm halfway through my speech. The only path to lasting peace and stability runs through a clean break with this regime. For the first time in 47 years, President Trump's strategy has given us a real chance to achieve that outcome. For decades, every American president since Jimmy Carter chose to try to manage this looming threat rather than resolve it. Each of them has failed. They have only made the problem worse. The result has been more dead Iranians and more dead Americans. So the mullahs operated on the assumption that America didn't have the stomach to confront them decisively. That assumption began to collapse when President Trump ordered the strike on Qasem Soleimani. and wants the myth. And once the myth of the regime's invisibility was shattered, possibilities began to move in a different direction. Operation Midnight Hammer and Epic Fury have done something extraordinary. The killing of Khamenei and many of his henchmen, the destruction of more than 80% of the regime's ballistic missile arsenal, and the obliteration of the nuclear sites have leveled the playing field. This did not happen by accident. It happened because of President Trump's resolve and the courage of American troops. And on behalf of millions of Iranians, we thank them. Their sacrifice was not in vain. For the first time in nearly half a century, the Iranian people have a fighting chance to end this regime of terror and chaos. The regime's repressive machine has been degraded, its terror network cut off, and its leadership decimated. But for this all to be worth it, the sacrifices of both Americans and Iranians, for the goodwill between our two people, which you see on vibrant display here today, to continue, we must finish the job. This regime in its entirety must go. If we do not finish the job and leave a rump of the regime in place, the threat posed by this Islamic Republic will not be solved. It will only be made worse. Those who have spent 47 years sowing chaos cannot be trusted to bring about stability. Terrorists cannot be trusted to bring peace. If they are left in place, they will bring only more of the instability, chaos, and destruction they have brought for 47 years. They are not pragmatists. They are thugs. They are not deal makers. They are agents of chaos. But the other path, the path which finishes the job once and for all, will leave a legacy of peace and prosperity that historians and scriptwriters could only dream of. That legacy will belong to the heroic people of Iran and to the only president of the United States who had the courage and the character to see this mission through. Today, that is the precipice on which we stand, the precipice of true greatness. Iranians are ready to play their part. The final blow will be delivered by the people of Iran themselves. They are already on the ground, and they have already demonstrated their extraordinary courage. They are ready to fight again, but they must be given the chance to do so. As President Trump, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and myself have urged, they are taking shelter while the bombs are falling. But when the right moment arrives, as in January, I will call on them to rise up again. And when they do, I have no doubt they will put an end to the dark chapter of the Islamic Republic once and for all, and reclaim their homeland, their dignity, and their future. But bringing down a regime is only the beginning. What matters next is whether the nation can unite around a leader with broad legitimacy. Across Iran and throughout the diaspora, millions of Iranians have called on me to lead the transition to democracy. accepted that call, not to serve myself. I have accepted that call not to serve myself, but to serve my nation and my people. In recent years, I have unified a broad coalition of dissidents, Republicans and monarchists, left and right, men and women of all ages, religions, and ethnicities. Even people who were former political opponents have joined the movement to free Iran under my leadership. Equally important, Iran's armed forces and bureaucracy will follow me. Thousands of the regime's military officials, some very senior, have signed their readiness to join me through a digital defection platform my team established several months ago. Many of these officials have refused to obey the orders to kill civilians during the January uprising. That's why the IRGC had to import thugs from Afghanistan, Iraq, and Lebanon to do the dirty work. With my leadership, they and others who don't have blood on their hands will play a role in stabilizing the country during a transition. Iran is not Iraq. We will not repeat the catastrophic mistake of de-Baathification. There will be no dissolution of bureaucratic institutions, no power vacuum, no chaos.
I hope that's the case.
The transition will be orderly, and my team of experts have produced a detailed plan called the Iran Prosperity Project, or IPP. This is a roadmap for national recovery, including the first 100 days after
probably could have come up with a better one than
the regime's collapse and the long-term reconstruction and stabilization of our country. What we ask of America now is simple. Stay the course. Do not throw this crumbling regime a lifeline. Pave the way for the Iranian people to finish the job. Because freedom is not an American story alone. It is the story of all people who refuse to live on their knees. It is the story America wrote in 1776. And today, it is the story the Iranian people are writing with their courage and sacrifice. We prefer to die standing than to live kneeling. So, 2026 marks the 250th birthday of the United States. It is my hope and my belief that history will also remember 2026 as the year of Iran's rebirth. What my people are fighting for is the rebirth of our 2,500-year-old civilization. When the black page of the illegitimate Islamic regime is turned, that is the transition and heritage to which Iran will return. So in 2026, our two nations are reaching for a new chapter, both determined to be great. President Trump rightly observed that the Iranian people are the Iranian regime's longest suffering victims. He told them, the hour of your freedom is at hand, and they are already ready to meet this moment. The Iran story is not yet finished. Great civilizations outlast even the most vicious occupiers. With your help, and with the courage, sacrifice, and heroism of Iran's greatest youth, our best latest chapter is being written right now. When it is done, a free and democratic Iran will stand alongside the United States as a partner, an ally, and a friend. President Trump, thank you. President Trump is making America great again. I intend to make Iran great again. Together with my brave compatriots, that is exactly what we will do. Thank you. God bless America and lovely Iran.
Well, time will tell. We'll see. Interesting speech. Okay. Who else was there today? Brooke Rollins, Turner, HUD. Huh? And Paxton. Yesterday. Yeah, here's President Trump at the FII summit, which I missed. This is yesterday. Maybe we can just put this on for the remainder.
For the second consecutive year at FII Miami.
Is this like a Cuban thing?
We are privileged to host the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American.
Let me look that up while this is playing. FII Priority Summit. FII Institute. It's got to be like a Cuban. You know what? Yeah, that's it. Okay. The FII Institute is a global nonprofit with a single pressing agenda: impact on humanity. Ah, interesting. AI, robotics, education, healthcare, and sustainability. Okay. I've heard of this one. Interesting. Finance, digitize assets. Yep. Look into them more. Like they have ties to Saudis, possibly. Did I see that? Here, yeah. Based in Riyadh. Or at least they have an office in Riyadh. Here they are. Okay. Saudi Arabia's main sovereign wealth fund. There you go. Future Investment Initiative. Powered by the Public Investment Fund. CEO is Richard Attias. Thing. Davos in the desert. That's where, okay, I know it by that name. Remember it from maybe a couple years ago. I remember right. I think Putin was speaking at it, maybe. Guy brings together policymakers, investors, entrepreneurs, and young leaders to discuss international investment and the global economy. It sounds like it should be interesting. Depending on what he gets into here. Never know with him. Almost.
Thank you very much. A lot of rich people in this audience. I'm looking left, right, center, all the way in the back. They're rich too. But I'm thrilled to be back with so many friends and partners, leaders, and innovators here at the Future Investment Initiative. And it's a really great group of people, a very smart group of people. They know what's happening in the world. It's my second address to the conference as President of the United States, and it's my honor to be here. Thank you very much. As you know, we're gathered at a moment of bold action and historic decision to make America and our allies safer and stronger, more prosperous, more successful than ever before. That's what's happening. Tonight, we're closer than ever to the rise of the Middle East that is finally free at last from Iranian terror, aggression, and nuclear blackmail. That's what's happened. It was nuclear blackmail for years and years. And beyond that, there was blackmail, period. Under my leadership, America is ending the threat posed by this radical regime, decimating Iran's capabilities with Operation Epic Fury, something that nobody's ever seen anything quite like it. We have the most powerful military in the world by far. I built it in my first term. Remember, I said $1 trillion. They all said, what do you mean $1 trillion? $1 trillion. Every year, another trillion, the next, another trillion. We have the best people. We have by far the best equipment. We have weapons that nobody's ever seen before. We have weapons that nobody even knows about, except for a few of us. For 47 years, Iran has been known as the bully of the Middle East, but they are not the bully any longer. They're on the run. Last June, America's armed forces obliterated Iran's key nuclear facilities in one of the most spectacular military actions of all time. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. In the dead of night, no moon, 1 o'clock in the morning, we went in. It was called Operation Midnight Hammer. And every single one of those bombs hit their mark. Air shafts. They will never build an air shaft again, I promise you that. They went right down that granite mountain through air shafts. The most incredible technology you've ever seen, that a thing like that. And it was decimation, it was obliteration. One of the networks said, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. It was that bad. It turned out to be even more than we thought. But after that attack, the Iranian lunatics refused to cease their pursuit of nuclear weapons. And I have to say, before that, Barack Hussein Obama, did you ever hear of him? Barack Hussein Obama, he had the Iran nuclear deal. He went to Iran. He paid him. Remember, he sent two Boeing 757 jetliners. They took the seats out and they piled it with cash, like 1.7 billion of cash. That's when I realized the president is very powerful. The presidency is a very powerful thing. When you can do that, I haven't done that yet. I haven't found a reason to do that yet, but that's big. 1.7 billion in cash. You know, there wasn't a bank in D.C., Virginia, or Maryland that had any money after that disaster. But they sent the cash to Iran. But more importantly, they signed an agreement, the Iran nuclear deal, which if I didn't terminate it in my first term, I terminated it almost immediately. If I didn't terminate it, they would have had a nuclear weapon long ago, and they would have used it on the Middle East, Israel, and the Middle East. And you know the Middle East because when you look at all the missiles that got fired, UAE had 1,500 missiles shot at it. They didn't think they were going to have any. Saudi Arabia didn't expect to have, I mean, we have the most powerful Saudis. Oh, yes, sir, you are so powerful. But Yasser, you didn't expect any missiles going to Saudi Arabia. They didn't expect them in Qatar. They didn't expect them in Kuwait, in Bahrain. The missiles rained down on you. They were going to hit you with nuclear or whatever they had. But we stopped it. We stopped it. We stopped it with him. And then there was a big moment also in my first administration when I took out Soleimani. And a lot of people think that might have been the biggest thing of all because he was a mad genius. He was a vicious, horrible human being, but he was a great general and a great leader, if you define a leader in a certain way, very, very powerful leader. In fact, he was so powerful that I really think that the leadership of Iran was extremely happy when I took him out, but they don't say that, but nobody's going to be asking him anymore because they're not here either. But getting the termination and terminating the Iran nuclear deal that was done by Biden and Obama, I would say mostly Obama. Actually, I don't think Biden knew where he was then, too. He had no idea. If you said to him, the Iran nuclear, what's that? But there was 4 years of hell we had with this guy as our leader, I'll tell you. And then we hit him with the B-2 bomber, so we did it twice. But if they would have had a nuclear weapon, it would have been a whole big deal. And I wouldn't be here right now, and probably you guys wouldn't be too happy. You might be in an area, who knows where you would have been. But we did it twice. And I really believe we saved the Middle East. We saved not just Israel, we saved the Middle East. And it was proven by all those rockets that fired down upon you. Saudi Arabia got hit a lot. You all got hit, and nobody expected any missiles to be wasted. You would have thought they were only going at Israel. They weren't. As President of the United States, I would never allow the world's #1 state sponsor of terror to obtain a nuclear weapon. I said that for a long time. And I didn't. To defend America and our allies over the past 27 days, the U.S. Armed Forces, most powerful in the world, have been annihilating Iran's military capacity with force, precision, skill like the world has never seen. It was violence, actually, really violence. We're crushing Iran's currently, as we speak. I just looked. We had another big day. We hit them. They don't know what's happening. Remember this. They lied about 3 days ago. I said, yeah, we're negotiating with Israel. We are not negotiating. They're being hit so hard, anybody would be negotiating. They are negotiating. They're begging to make a deal. They're begging to make a deal. It turned out I was right. They were negotiating, which they admitted 2 days later. And in order to make up for their misstatement, they said, we're going to send you 8 ships of oil. And the following day I saw, this is 2 days ago, I saw on one of the networks, very strange, there were 8 ships of oil coming out of Iran. And then they actually said, we're going to add an extra 2. And they added an extra 2, so we had 10 ships. And then people realized we were actually negotiating. And we're negotiating now, and it'd be great if we could do something, but they have to open it up. They have to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Excuse me for this. I'm so sorry. Such a terrible mistake. The fake news will say, he accidentally said, no. There's no accidents with me, not too many. If there were, we'd have a major story. No, well, we had that with the Gulf of Mexico. Remember the Gulf of Mexico? And one day I said, why is it the Gulf of Mexico? We have 92% of the area around it. They have 8%, really less than 8%. But for 350 years, it was called, they were there 100 years longer than us, Mexico. They're at 350, we're at 250. And I said, I've often asked myself, why do we call it the Gulf of Mexico? It seems like we dominate. Well, when I checked, it was more than 92%. So I announced, I wouldn't say Mexico was thrilled, but I announced that from now on, the Gulf of Mexico is going to be called the Gulf of America. And it took about 1 hour, and it was done. Everybody, the president called me. She's really a nice person, too. I like her a lot. She called up. She had the most beautiful voice. She's a very elegant woman, has a beautiful, beautiful voice. She goes, President, President, tell me, this is not so. No, it's so. Oh, it's so. And then Google Maps changed it. We won the court case in about 1 hour, and Google Maps changed the name. And it's now the Gulf of America, which it should be, in all fairness. We're crushing Iran's weapons stockpiles, destroying their missiles and drone factories at levels nobody ever thought was possible, and turning their defense industrial base into nothing. Iran's navy is gone. It's all sunk at the bottom of the Gulf and elsewhere. Did you see the attack submarine that we have went after one of their boats? It was called the Soleimani. It was the pride of their fleet. But this attack submarine goes like 60 miles an hour. I never saw anything. And it caught them in about 2 minutes. And that was the end of the Soleimani. Now, then they're 100% dead. They have 22 mine droppers. They call them mine droppers. And the mine droppers, 22, all 22 are gone. So I guess they can drop mines, but they're going to have to take them out by a rowboat because they don't have any boats. Their Air Force is dead, totally, completely dead. It's out of business. No planes left at all. Their anti-aircraft and communications capabilities are totally dismantled and dead. And their leaders are all dead. Other than that, I think they're doing quite well. No, their leaders are dead. Their supreme leader is no longer supreme. He's dead. The son is either dead or in very bad shape because nobody's heard from him. I think he says, just keep me out of this. This is the only country where nobody wants to lead. There's nobody. Who would like to lead Iran? Please raise your hand, a big audience of distinguished. Who would like to be our leader? Dead silence. Nobody wants to lead. Now, we have an amazing military. We have the greatest intelligence apparatus that anybody's ever seen. We can tell you everything that's going on. We know everything that's going on. We're achieving each and every one of the military objectives I laid out less than 4 weeks ago. And we're doing it really, I guess, we're 2 weeks ahead of schedule. We're not into it very long. We wouldn't have thought we would have been. We knew it was going to be easy. We call it a military operation. We don't call it a war. We call it a military operation. We're very disappointed, by the way, with NATO. They didn't come to our aid. I didn't try too hard, actually, because I wanted to prove a point. I didn't sell. They probably think I'm a lousy salesman. I said, would you like to help us? To President of France, Macron, nice guy. He is a nice guy. I said, Emmanuel, would you like to help? Yes. As soon as the war is over, we will send ships. I said, no. I don't want them when the war is over. I want them before we start. And UK, our longest ally, nobody ever thought this was possible. I said to the Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, we'd like you to have 2 aircraft carriers. They're little ones. They're not very good. I know they don't go fast, and I know they don't work very well, but we could probably use them, maybe for helicopters. And they said, yes, we are preparing them. I see, when will they be ready? Maybe in a month or 2. Oh, great, that's wonderful. I said, are you going to help us? Yes, we're going to help you. When the war is finished, we will be there. This is NATO. And I've always said NATO's a paper tiger. And I've always said we help NATO, but they'll never help us. And if the big one ever happened, and I don't think it will, but if the big one ever happened, I guarantee you they wouldn't be there. And we learned from that. And remember what I said, because they made a big mistake. They were not there. The Chancellor of Germany, these are all friends of mine, Friedrich, the Chancellor of Germany, he said, this is not our war. We have nothing to do. Well, Ukraine's not our war. But we helped them. I wouldn't have had to help. If I were president, that war would have never happened. But we had a man of a very low IQ as president, and he had no idea what the hell he was. I was listening to him talk. I said, he's forcing an issue that's going to be trouble, and it turned out to be trouble. Last week, 28,000 soldiers died. The week before that, 32,000 soldiers died. I think we're going to get it settled, but it's a terrible thing. Worse since World War II. I settled 8 wars. And this should have been one of the easier ones, but the hatred between President Putin and President Zelensky is extreme. Never good. Hatred's a bad thing when you're trying to settle a war. I want to thank the entire Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, who've been very helpful, unlike NATO. Now, Saudi Arabia fought, Qatar fought, UAE fought, Bahrain fought, and Kuwait fought, even though they shot down 3 of our planes with the finest missiles. We could have done without that. They didn't know they were our planes. They wasted 3 great Patriot missiles, and you have to say there's nothing like these Patriots. You know, we had an attack of 101 a few days ago. 101 missiles shot at a very valuable thing that we had floating on the water, namely an aircraft carrier, biggest in the world. And they were shot, 101, going 2,500 miles an hour. And out of the 101 missiles shot, 101 missiles were shot down and spread out all over the sea. Pretty amazing. That's called incredible technology, right, Steve? That's called great technology. Think of it, 101 missiles going 2,500 miles an hour. You don't have a lot of time. And these aren't necessarily weightlifting shoulders. These are very smart people doing that, and I watched them. I watched their performance. Missiles launched, missiles launched. It's almost like they're bored by it. They have like 9 seconds ahead of FIFA, the most powerful man in sports. Johnny, you never choked, right? These guys can't choke, but they're very smart. High IQs. We need high IQs. We have too many low IQ people. But what happened is, you have to see it. It's very cool. Missiles launched, missiles launched, missiles launching. They're launching. Okay, we're ready. 101 missiles coming at them. All right, we have to have like 11 seconds to make a determination. And then at 7 seconds, fire, fire, fire. It's the most unbelievable thing. Fire, boom, fire, boom. One at a time, just knocked them out like they were nothing. Genius. It's like unbelievable. I mean, to think and we have the technology nobody has. Look at what happened in Venezuela. They had other equipment, not ours. They made the mistake of using other equipment. Didn't work too well. And Venezuela was, took 45 minutes. It was a 45-minute war. This one's bigger. This one's bigger. It's a bigger country, a lot more powerful. It's a lot more powerful, but it's not powerful anymore. Within 2 days, I think the damage was done, but now it's really done. Now we're just going after targets, and they have no anti-aircraft, so we're just floating over the top looking for whatever we want, and we're hitting it, and we have another 3,554 targets left. And that'll be done pretty quickly. And then, at some point, we're going to have to determine what we do. But they've never seen anything like it. When we hit Venezuela, that's a very strong military country. They have soldiers. If you've ever been there, I've been there. They have a lot of soldiers walking around all over the place. Everyone's a soldier. Very military kind of a place. And the general, there was a general, professional general, really good. And he said, we were all set for him. We knew there was a problem when we noticed at 1 o'clock in the morning, every 32 seconds, another airplane, a very fast plane, was coming off the deck of an aircraft carrier. That's actually the biggest aircraft carrier in the world. And every 32 seconds, boom, boom, boom. And it was 1 o'clock in the morning, so we said, okay, I think we're in trouble. But they were ready for us, Johnny. And we were ready. He said, we were ready. And then they hit us, and they came from 17 different angles. They were here, they were there. We ran for our lives. It was over. And it was over. And then we took this guy, who was a very bad guy, and within literally minutes, he was in the back of a helicopter in a house that was in a big military base with thousands and thousands of soldiers. The house was all steel, with steel doors, steel everything. They had the small steel doors, the big doors. We were equipped for anything. Even the big one, it would have been opened within 30 seconds. They walked in with blow torches. And within minutes, he was out of the house, being thrown into the helicopter, sailing away, and the soldiers just looked. Bye. Enjoy your trip, sir. It was amazing. It was an amazing, but this is more amazing what's happening now, because we took a very strong country. I could see the Yasser, the problem you would have had. I mean, this was not a weak country. This was a strong country. They had over 10,000 missiles that they accumulated since October 2nd, if you think. Since the B-2s, really since the B-2s, they accumulated them in a matter of months, 6 months. But they had well over 10,000. They had rocket launchers. You know, rocket launchers are more important than the rockets, because you take a rocket launcher out, that's the end of that. People think you can take those big rockets and throw them out your window, like when you were a child with the paper airplanes. You said, it doesn't work that way. You need those launchers, and we knocked out 97% of the launchers. That's why you may be attacked, but you're not being attacked with very heavy numbers of missiles like at the beginning. But in particular, I want to thank my friend, the Crown Prince Mohammed, who is a fantastic man and a great friend of mine, and a friend of all of yours, I think. And he's a warrior. He's a warrior. He was not afraid of this country that, frankly, he should have been afraid of, because they're very powerful. I want to thank Tamim, because Tamim is, these three people have been unbelievable. Tamim, and then UAE, Mohammed. These are three great people, and they were under tremendous attack, unexpected attack, and they weren't thinking this was going to happen. Nobody was, and they turned against them and really became very powerfully aligned. And they were with us, but they weren't with us very obliquely. They were with us. But I think that I have to acknowledge for their bravery, because they were being hit pretty hard. All three of them, they were being hit pretty hard. The Emir, Mohammed, you had two Mohammeds and a Tamim, and they're friends of mine. And also I have to say that Bahrain and Kuwait, they were stand up, more so than NATO, I want to tell you. More so than NATO. Now, they're a little closer to the action than NATO in all fairness, but very disappointed with NATO. But I wasn't disappointed with our allies in the Middle East and others. And others. We had tremendous support from countries that were not in the general area, but they were tremendously supportive. I think Turkey was fantastic, actually fantastic, and they stayed out of things that we asked them to, and he's a great leader. He's a great leader. And Indonesia was great. We had so many great, you know, you learn who your friends are, really do. You learn who your friends are. And, but Indonesia, Turkey, and so many other countries. But the five were great. But your dear friend and my dear friend he was all man. He stood up and he wasn't scared. Maybe he was, I don't know, maybe he was, but he didn't show it. He was great, a great leader. You can be Saudi Arabia can be very proud of because he's got a lot of titles. He's the Crown Prince. He's the Prime Minister. He's the future king. He's got about 7 other titles. I said, you have more titles than any human being on earth. He's everything. And he deserves to be, because he's a winner. So I just want to thank those people. So the Middle East will be transformed, and the future of that region is never, I don't think it's ever looked brighter. You couldn't have, you know, we did the Abraham Accords. I hope you're going to be getting into the Abraham Accords finally. Yeah, so will you please go back and explain? It's time now. You know, Mohammed said, oh, yes, as soon as we do this, as soon as we do that. I said, Mohammed, we did that. Oh, yes, but we have a couple of other things. It's now time. We've now taken them out, and they are out bigly. We got to get into the Abraham Accords, and we hope all of the countries are going to be in the Abraham Accords. We have some very brave countries that did it, you know, years ago. They went in, and you know who they are, the early four, and they did a great thing in doing it, and it was great for them also economically, but it was a great thing that they did it. But I think all the Middle Eastern countries are going to be joining now. And in some cases, I would say all the Middle Eastern countries and beyond. You have people not in the Middle East that want to be members. You'll be seeing that soon. In the meantime, the conflict in Iran also makes it absolutely vital for the radical left Democrats in Congress to immediately end their dangerous shutdown of our Department of Homeland Security. You know, they want to play games, that's all they are. These people are lunatics. They sort of remind me actually a little bit of Iran. They're deranged. They're deranged Democrats. For 42 days, they've tried to completely eliminate funding for the #1 duty of government, which is keeping America safe. And they want no ICE. They want no Border Patrol. They want no protection of any kind to be given, reopening our borders and stopping all immigration enforcement in our country. They want to have our borders be open again. We took in 25 million people. We've gotten a lot of them out. Tremendous numbers of people that should never have been here. Over 4 long years before my election, these same radical, lunatic Democrats let 25 million people pour across our borders like they were nothing, like they were non-existent. These people were totally unvetted, unchecked, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, vicious criminals, even the criminally insane. In 2024, the American people voted in a landslide to stop the invasion of our country. And I won all 7 swing states by millions and millions of votes. We won the Electoral College by a massive number. We won the popular vote, millions and vote, just millions. This was a big election. I loved every minute of it. And for the first time, no Republicans done anything like this in decades, but for the first time we won the counties of America. That's a big one, 2,700 to 525, 2,700 to 525, 87% of the vote. We won 87% of the counties. In other words, it was a mandate like our country has not seen in many decades. It was a mandate for an ideology, which is an ideology basically of common sense. We want strong borders. We want a powerful military. We want good education. We want to have homes for people and low interest rates and no inflation. And right now, my polls are better than they've ever been before. You know, I heard the other day, I think that he's losing the MAGA base. I said, really? Because of the war. See, I get into a war. Of course, they call it a war. I call it a military conflict. But there's a legal reason for that. But you get into a war or a military operation or conflict for you, and then they say, my base. I said, no, MAGA's stronger than ever because MAGA's make America great again. But my MAGA people, which is the greatest phrase in the history of politics, it's the most important movement by far, probably in the history of the world. I mean, you know, there's never been anything like this. And in fact, just a few days ago, you have to understand, the fake news right back, oh, that's a lot of fake news. Yeah, so you brought a lot of fake news with you. They must know you're going to make a speech at some point, because look at but what happened is the fake news was saying, he may, they hope. You know, it's like, oh, we got to get rid of this guy. They say, he may be losing his MAGA base. And that would be maybe the end of him. And then I happened to be watching CNN, which is terrible. They treat me terribly. In fact, just a few days ago, CNN had a poll that had me at 100% of MAGA voters. They said they've never seen anything like that. Can you put that up? I actually said if you could put it up. Do you have the technology to put it up? Go ahead, give it a shot.
You know, sometimes you look at the polling data and there are numbers that just jump off the screen at you, and this is one of those. Because just take a look here. MAGA GOP view of Trump. Approved 100%. 100%. If you are a member of MAGA in the GOP, you approve of Donald John Trump. 0% say that they disapprove. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know you can't go higher than 100%. He is the 1972 Miami Dolphins.
Good technology, thank you. I figured you'd have good tech. I said, I wonder if they could put that poll up. We just did it 2 minutes ago. No, but I was watching this and I'm hearing them saying, could he be losing the MAGA base? I don't think so. You know why? Because MAGA wants to win, number one. Number two, they want our country protected. They don't want another country out there that's hostile and crazy to have a nuclear weapon. And number three, they like us protecting certain allies, whether it's Israel or Saudi Arabia or Qatar or UAE, any of them. They want that. MAGA wants strength, and they want victory. They want success, and that's what we have, and we have been very, very successful. You know, when I went into Venezuela, I said, because I campaigned on the fact peace through strength, you wouldn't have to use. I built this great military. I said, you'll never have to use it, but sometimes you have to use it. And Cuba's next, by the way, but pretend I didn't say that, please. Pretend I didn't say that. Please, 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 media, please disregard that statement. Thank you very much. Cuba's next. So despite the radical left Democrat shutdown, we will continue to defend the sovereign borders of the United States of America, and we'll defend our allies. And your ally, you didn't know they were that tough, did you? You didn't know. They were pretty tough, Iran. Not tough anymore. Now we'll continue to deport dangerous criminal aliens from our country. Just days ago, an 18-year-old girl in Chicago named Sheridan Gorman was gunned down by a savage criminal alien led in by Sleepy Joe Biden and then released in a Democrat sanctuary city. He was an animal. The same month, an 83-year-old veteran, highly regarded person, was shoved onto the subway tracks and murdered by an illegal alien with a long criminal history in New York City. These are vicious criminal thugs, disgusting human beings that Democrats have defunded our airports to protect. They want our airports to be defunded so that these people can come into our country. Not going to happen. We're not going to have it. That's why this week I deployed ICE to our airports to help reduce the delays. People there are doing a great job, but they didn't want to pay them. The Democrats didn't want to pay them. And a short time ago, I also ordered emergency funding to resume paying the TSA agents immediately. They're getting paid. Democrats must stop their dangerous and destructive shutdown and reopen the Department of Homeland Security without delay. And it's time that they start thinking properly. That's why they lost in such a landslide and put America first. It's time that they start thinking about America first. And we're honored to be joined tonight by many distinguished guests from around the world, including FII Institute Chairman Yasser Al-Romayan. Where are you, Yasser? Come here, stand up. Yes, yes, please. What a nice name. What a nice name. And his son, Faisal. And by the way, I've known him really well, but you know, I've never heard his last name. So I'm saying, who the hell is Yasser? I know Yasser. I said, who the hell is that guy? But I know him by Yasser, right? I didn't know if it was your first name or your last name. All I know is he's got a lot of power. All I know is he's got a lot of cash. And he's another great leader, actually, and he's a good friend of mine. So nice to be with you, and nice to be with your son. Son's beautiful. Saudi Minister of Finance, Mohammed Al-Jadaan. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Nice to see you again. Good job. I mean, if you want to be a Minister of Finance, Saudi Arabia is a good place to do it, right? You don't have any dearth. There's no dearth of funds. Most places, they say, where are we going to get the money? How about a tax increase? Minister of State, Mohammed Al-Sheikh. Mohammed. Thank you very much. Great honor. Chairman of the Saudi Esports Federation, His Royal Highness Prince Faisal. And of course, please. Thank you. And of course, the kingdom's wonderful ambassador to the United States, Her Royal Highness Princess Rima, who's great. She's great. Also, I want to thank the president of Sierra Leone, Julius Madabio. Madabio, I love that name. Thank you. Great honor to have you. And chairman of the FII Institute Executive Committee, Richard Attias. Thank you, Richard. As well as special envoy, I call him Henry Kissinger, who doesn't leak, because Henry is a big leaker. Richard Nixon would beat him. Henry, somebody's leaking on us. There's somebody leaking. Henry would say, we'll get to the bottom. It was Henry that was leaking. That wasn't good. So we have Henry Kissinger, better than Henry Kissinger, and he doesn't leak. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. Thank you, Steve. Doing a great job. And he and Jared Kushner, they're like a team, and boy, I tell you, they're a good team. High IQ. That's a high IQ team. You want to find your high IQ people. Director of the Office of Science and Technology Policy, Michael Kratsios, a Greek individual. Where's Michael? He was at the Greek event. Hi, Michael. He was at the Greek event yesterday, so I know he's Greek. They asked me, please, sir, would you introduce Michael? CMS administrator, a phenomenal man, a brilliant man. You know, he had a show on television for like 20 years that was so great. I was on his show. He said, would you do me a favor? Would you go on my show? I said, yeah, I'll go on your show. It's a big show. It was very successful. And I went on his show, and he determined that I should lose weight. This is what I went through. He said, I think you should lose weight. I said, I don't need you saying that in front of millions of people. You don't have to tell me that. But he's a great guy, and I don't know how he ever got the job after that, but he's the most powerful man, actually. Medicine, him and Bobby. What a team. Bobby is great. He's great. Dr. Oz, you know that? Mehmet Oz. Right? And they're coming up with things that are amazing, a little out of the box, but the out of the box guys are really finding things that are amazing. Autism, that's so important to us. We want to find out why is it happening in such large numbers all over the world, but why is it happening in our country all over the world? And you're coming up with some pretty impressive studies and answers. A really good friend of mine, the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, and Johnny is great. You know, when I didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, you got to understand, I don't care. Norway has lost so credible. I stopped 8 wars. I even stopped India and Pakistan. And they were going at it for a week. They had 9 planes already shot down. They were in a war. I stopped them. You know how I stopped them? I said, if you keep fighting, I'm going to put a 250% tariff on each one. No, you cannot do that. I said, I'm doing it. All right, we won't fight anymore. That's how I stopped them. I used tariffs to stop. You ever hear of anything like that? It was too much for them to bear. But they were going to be in a war, and the prime minister, actually a great guy, the prime minister of Pakistan said President Trump saved 30 to 50 million people. 2 nuclear countries would have happened. And I figured, if I don't get the Nobel Prize for Peace, nobody will ever get it. I didn't get it. I'm not surprised. I didn't get it. And the person that got it was shocked. She's a wonderful woman, too, by the way. And she said, no, I don't deserve it. President Trump does. Nobody deserves it. Nobody ever does. I stopped 8 wars, Yasser. Do you know what that is? 8 wars. You didn't stop 8 wars. You started 8 wars, Yasser. I stopped 8 wars. But it was a little early because, in all fairness, it was for the year before, right? It was for 24. But still, you thought they would have made an exception. But they didn't do that. You watch what happens. But it was sort of amazing. So she was so nice, and she actually came to the White House, and she presented me with her award. She's a wonderful woman. But stopping wars is, I think, it's the best. I think I do it the best. I stopped wars that nobody thought. President Putin called me. He said, I can't believe you stopped this one and this one, which are impossible. Azerbaijan, it was an impossible war to stop. We stopped it. But we also have a man who's probably good at stopping wars. I know he's good at being a tough guy. He is a tough guy. He's been very tough on crime, and he's done a great job. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez is here someplace. Francis, hi. How are you? And we have our great son. He's got the best genes, I think, of any human being I've ever known. He's my son, Don Trump. Don, he's a great guy. And his fiancée, Bettina. Good, Bettina, good. No, my son's got the greatest genes in history. I'm a big believer in genes, by the way, I will tell you. My daughter, Tiffany, and her husband, Michael. My beautiful daughter. Great. And they have a new child, the most beautiful guy we've seen, right? Blows us all away, right? He's great. Thank you for being here. And countless other business leaders. We have so many friends of mine here, so many business leaders, but we can't go on because we have a couple of moments more to discuss the world and the economy. Over the past 14 months, the Trump administration has achieved perhaps the most dramatic one-year turnaround of any nation in all of history. A short time ago, a man that we just discussed, the king, the future king of Saudi Arabia, and I also love the king of Saudi Arabia. What a man he is. When I was there, we bonded. He would grab me to get up. He was a little frail at the time, and this was a long time ago, and he's still doing well. And he'd grab my arm to get up when I was sitting next to him. And they said that's the only time he's ever grabbed anybody. He would grab me all the time. And I said, I think he likes me. And he did like me, and he still likes me, and he's a great man, and say hello to him. He's a great guy with a great son. But a short time ago, we were together, and he looked at me, and he said, you know, it's amazing. 1 year ago, you were a dead country. Now you're the hottest country anywhere in the world. He didn't think this was going to happen. He didn't think he'd be kissing my ass. He really didn't. He thought he'd be just another American president that was a loser, where the country was going downhill. But now he has to be nice to me. You tell him he better be nice to me. He's got to be. But it was really something. He said, you know, it's amazing, President, because he's a very smart, but a regular kind of a guy. He said, you know, it's amazing, President. A year ago, in that case, it was a year and a half. It was 6 months ago. But a year ago, you were a dead country. Now you're literally the hottest country anywhere in the world. And that was before we beat the hell out of Iran. You know, now I think he's got to say even better. I think we have to up it. But he's fantastic. And everything we do, we're working to make America the #1 place on earth to do business. We passed the largest tax cuts in American history, including no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. We provided 100% expensing and bonus depreciation so that anyone who wants to build a factory can deduct the entire cost of equipment and the entire factory in the first year. That used to take 38 years to do. You'd take it little drips, now it's done. And you know, a lot of people remember that my first 4 years was the most successful time we've ever had financially in the history of our country. We had an unbelievable success, but this is much better. And by the way, when this war ends, it's going to be like a rocket ship. I thought we were going to go down more, and I thought oil prices were going to go up higher than they are now. It's not finished yet. I'm not saying it's sort of finished, but it's not finished. It's got to be finished. And I thought that we would see a bigger drop in stock. It hasn't been that bad. You know, it's sort of crazy. I hit 50,000 on the Dow. People said that wouldn't be possible within 4 years. I did it in 1 year. And then we hit 7,000 on the S&P. People said that's even harder than hitting 50,000 on the Dow. And I did that in less than 1 year. Toward the end of the year, both of them, we broke every record, every stock record we broke. And you're big beneficiaries because so many of you invest in the United States, and keep doing it because it's going to be a rocket ship. You watch. But then I said, all right, do I have to do this? We have a country that's sick and demented, and they have a nuclear weapon, or they want to have one. They were very close to getting it. Remember, they were 2 weeks away. They were 2 weeks away. If we didn't hit that, I call it the nuclear dust. I use the term nuclear dust. If we didn't knock the hell out of them, they would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 to 4 weeks, and they would have used it on you and on Israel and on everyone else. And I said, we really do have to stop and go on a little different journey for a little while and take them out and then go back to life. And that's what we did. And we did it violently. We did it powerfully. We did it with the respect of the world. And we helped a lot of allies. And we learned about other allies. We learned that other allies weren't there. We didn't need them, but they weren't there if we did need them. And that's going to be very costly for them. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election, adding $9 trillion in value to America's savings and retirement accounts and 401ks. Everybody's benefiting by this. And more Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country, at any time. To me, that's the #1 stat. More Americans are working today, by far, than at any time in the history of our country. And in 14 months, we've lifted 3.3 million Americans off of food stamps. That's a record. And Biden and his allies wrecked our country. They wreaked havoc on our economy, and they gave us the worst inflation in American history. Under Trump, during the last 3 months of 2025, we got core inflation down to 1.6%. And right now, the average tax refund for filers, because of the great big beautiful bill, has been close to $5,000. It's a lot of money for a family. And this, you know, when I'm talking to Saudi Arabia and I'm talking about $5,000, they look at me, 5,000? That's like a penny. Right, David? That's like a penny. Saudi Arabia is not into $5,000, but it's Saudi Arabia. I just want to ask, are the Saudis impressed by the fact that a family has saved $5,000? I know they're looking like, what the hell is $5,000? Their shoes cost them more than $5,000. But that's the way it goes. We're talking about, remember, we're talking about the real world. In his entire term, Joe Biden, I have 2 terms for him, Crooked Joe and Sleepy Joe. It's always been pretty, you know, I do sometimes a poll, which is a more accurate term, sleepy or crooked, pretty much even. I like sleepy. In his entire term, Sleepy Joe Biden got less than $1 trillion of new investment in the United States, a lot less. And in our first 11 months, the 12th month is coming, it's going to be big, we did $18 trillion. Think of it, less than $1 trillion for 4 years. In 11 months, we did $18 trillion, and we have factories being built all over the country at a level that's never been seen before. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I allow these plants and everything to build their own electricity. Well, we need big electricity. They're all building their own electricity. But a lot of it has to do with the tax bill, a lot of them, because it's really the biggest tax reduction bill in history, the great big beautiful bill. And a lot of it has to do with the 1-year deductibility where you build a plant and you take the whole thing as a deduction. I did that in my first term also, but I had it for 1 year. Now I have it for 10 years. So it's pretty amazing, and it's pretty amazing what we're seeing. But it all started with our historic visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. My first visit was to the future king. And on that first foreign trip of my presidency last May, the Crown Prince announced that Saudi Arabia would be investing an incredible almost $1 trillion in the United States, which he later increased. As just a few examples of these new partnerships, Oracle will be building a $14 billion worth of cloud computing and AI infrastructure in the kingdom. I didn't know that, David. We have to talk to your father about that. Why isn't he doing it here, David? I'm very upset with you. And by the way, David has done a very good job. David Ellis said he just had a very big win. And your father's very proud of you because your father said, that's a tough one. And you got it done. It's going to be a great success. You're going to be a great success. You're going to blow away your father. And he'll be very happy about that because he loves you. But it's a great family. Great family. Say hello to him, okay? You're going to have a big, big success with the deal he made. Boeing is selling dozens of 737 airplanes in a deal valued at $4.8 billion and supporting approximately 20,000 U.S. jobs. And during our trip, the United States and Saudi Arabia, and I must say also Qatar, we visited, they were fantastic. And UAE, we visited, they were fantastic, all 3 of them. We took in a total of almost $3 trillion from just those 3 countries. But Saudi Arabia signed the largest defense sales agreement in American history, nearly $142 billion of the finest military equipment anywhere in the world. We make the best military equipment in the world by far. Nobody's ever figured out the Patriot. I mean, when you can shoot down 101 out of 101, That's good stuff, right? And those suckers are traveling at 2,000, Mr. Minister, 2,500 miles an hour. You better hope you don't have chokers sitting behind that desk. Because if they're about 1 second late, that's the end of it. You know, you say, well, we missed them, they're coming. When I hosted the Crown Prince at the White House last fall, we officially designated the kingdom as a major non-NATO ally, first time. And for the very first time, we agreed to sell Saudi Arabia perhaps the most capable fighter jet ever built, the F-35. The F-35 is amazing, and we sell them very sparingly. We don't want other people to have them. I'm confident that this partnership and so many others around the world will continue to grow and thrive because under President Trump, America once again fights and competes for one thing. We fight to win. We fight for justice and we fight to win. We don't fight to be politically correct like we did under other presidents where we fought to just keep fighting and fighting and fighting. And, you know, when I took out ISIS, I was told by generals it would take 4 to 5 years. And I met General Raisin Kane, who's our top person, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I said, if I ever do this thing again, if I ever get in, I'm putting that guy as the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I went to see him in Iraq, and I said, why is it taking so long to destroy ISIS? We have the best weapons in the world. And I understood why, but I had generals, I call them the television generals. They weren't any good. Mattis, Milley, they weren't any good. They were lousy. But they said, sir, it will take about 4 years. When I went over and I met General Kane, I said, how long will it take? 4 weeks, sir. You'll have a lot of time left over. I said, wait a minute. Did you say 4 weeks? 4 weeks, sir. It'll take 4 weeks. You have a lot of time left over. That's our new head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And he said, how do you do that? Well, sir, we were only able to fight from this one very far away location because nobody wanted to use all of our portable runways that we have all over the Middle East. We have portable runways, can you believe it? We have everything. But nobody wanted to use them because they didn't want to insult the country where the runway was located. I said, they wouldn't even know. Do you think some country's going to know when we have jets taking off? They don't know. He said, well, I agree with you, sir, but whether they know or not, who cares? He said, so we have about 17 locations that we could take off. From this one, it took 8 hours to get to the destination. By the time we got there, we had to refuel all the time, and we had to come back. And he said, but we have 17 different locations, sir. And, sir, we're going to hit him from the left. We're going to hit him from the right. We're going to hit him from the east and the west. And we're going to hit him from above. And you could see he was getting crazy. And I said, what's your first name? He said, Raisin, sir. What do you mean, Raisin? My name is Raisin. I said, you mean your name is Raisin Kane? And he said, yes, sir. You're the guy I'm looking for. I've been looking for you for 4 frickin' years. I found Raisin Kane. His first name is Dan, but his nickname is Raisin. And I love that. I loved Raisin Kane. And I said, if I ever get in, this is before I decided to even run, I said, if I ever run and if I win, that guy's going to be the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That's exactly what happened. Then he was all for me, and I'm all for him, but he's a great general. He's like one of these football coaches that's great. You know, there's some great ones, Johnny, right? And all they do is they sit, their wives are complaining, everyone's complaining. They never go, they don't see anybody. They just go into the room and they study film and tape it. Then they go out and win, and everyone says, how come? And other guys are out there playing golf. They're not winning. And he's been great, and Pete Hegseth has been amazing. He's been amazing. Pete has done a great job. He was born for it. I really believe he was born for it. We have a lot of great people. We have a lot. We had a great first 4 years, but the people we have now, you know, look, when I won, I'd never done it before. I ran. Everyone thought I was doing it for fun. Even Steve Witkoff, he said, you're doing it for fun, right? No, I guess. I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing it for. Maybe. But they all said, no, he's going to run, and in September he's going to have a lot of fun, he'll drop out. And then the debates came, and I did good in the debates, and we're knocking people off, all senators, governors, mostly senators and governors, all professional politicians, smart guys. You can't be stupid and be a senator or a governor. It doesn't work that way. Other than Biden, he got lucky. He was in a room, they locked him in a room, and he never got to talk. So, but that's a whole other story. But I ran, and then all of a sudden there were 18 people, including me. Then there were 15. Then there were 12. And then there were 9. Then there were 6, 5. It's like a rocket ship. 4. And then all of a sudden, I won. But I never did it before. I went to Washington. I said, I've only been here 17 times, and I've never slept over. I didn't know anybody. So I had to take recommendations from rhinos and some good people. I mean, there were recommendations, and some were really good. I mean, I had some great people. Look, I rebuilt our entire military in the first term. We got the largest tax cuts in history, the largest regulation cuts in history in the first time. We did good, but I didn't have the same people generally. But I went home and I watched this thing closely. And by that time, I knew the good, the bad, and the ugly. I knew the good ones. I knew the bad ones. And when I came back, I picked great people. We have an unbelievable, we're talking military now, but we have an unbelievable group because I got to know it. I was never in Washington. You know, it's hard. I never ran for class president. All of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, your next president of the United States is Donald Trump. I said, really? I never did this before. Johnny, I said, how the hell did this happen, right? But it did happen, and we had a great first term. But the second term is blowing it away, to be honest with you. It's really blowing it away. And when we decide to leave, regime change, I guess we change the regime. The regime gets blown up every 2 days. No, everybody's afraid to announce who's the head. We don't even know who the hell the leader is. So I think we have regime change already. But we're going to be, at some point, we'll be leaving. And I think you're going to see a rocket ship because we won't have that dark cloud hanging over our heads, Steve, right, that we did before, which was a nuclear-armed, sick country of Iran, because it might have affected your country, Saudi Arabia, and the others, and it certainly affected Israel more than anybody, the hatred they have for Israel, but it also affected us. Because with modern-day equipment, they can fly. And how about the fact that they flew a missile 2,700 miles the other day? They didn't say they had that. Nobody knew they had that. Went 2,700 miles. So we learned a lot, but we're determined to have the best technology, the brightest minds, the greatest businesses, and the strongest economic and security partnerships of any nation, anywhere in the world. And for this reason, we're also committed to ensuring the United States remains #1 in artificial intelligence. We're doing great. We're leading China by a lot. And I'll not allow radical left maniacs to sacrifice American AI leadership to red tape or political correctness. It's going good. We're doing really well. We're building factories all over America, the biggest in the world. And in America, we don't fear the future. We invent the future. We're really inventing the future. We have the most brilliant minds. And we invite all nations to join us in building the most powerful AI ecosystem on the planet. We're building more automobile plants than any time in the last 50 years. For a lot of reasons. I think #1, maybe the election, but #2, and a close #2, is tariffs. The tariffs are driving people in from Canada, Mexico, Germany, Japan, South Korea. They're coming in. We're building auto plants all over the United States, tens of billions. I met Mr. Toyota in Japan. I said, what's your name? He's about 92 years old. Sharp as a tack. What's your name? Toyota. I said, you're rich. I said, do you have anything to do with automobiles? Yes. What do you have to do with Toyota? I own it. And I said, well, do you want to make an investment? Yes, we're going to spend $10 billion, spending $10 billion right now on building 5 plants. Everybody is. They're all coming into America. We're going to be hotter than we were 70 years ago when we dominated the automobile. We made all of the cars. My administration has also worked tirelessly to ensure that America remains at the bleeding edge of crypto revolution. We're really doing great. And if we're not going to do it, then China is going to take it over. They want to do it. We're going to be the undisputed crypto capital and Bitcoin superpower of the world. Bitcoin's very powerful. It's all becoming powerful. So many people now, they want to pay you in crypto. They want to pay you in Bitcoin. And we have to be at the top of it in all of these, call it an industry. Last year, I signed the landmark Genius Act into law, creating a clear and simple framework for dollar-backed stablecoins. And this was a historic achievement, and I'll not allow Democrats and their big bank donors, although they've had a lot of support for crypto. They will say that. The Democrats have been very strong on crypto. They want to see it too, which is shocking if you want to know the truth. But we don't want any pointless regulations or needless restrictions. We want to have free enterprise, open. America became the world financial capital because we were the strongest and the freest nation on earth, and the Trump administration's going to keep it that way. We're very open. And I tell people, if you have problems, call me. And some of them are amazed. I actually take their call and get their problem solved. For 4 long years, our country was pushed to the brink of destruction by radicals and thugs and stupid people who punished success, pillaged our economy, dismantled our borders, and surrendered our strength. But today, all of that is behind us. Our country is prospering again, I think, like never before. I would say, you know, it's amazing. I knew I'd do it. I didn't know I was going to do it. I had no idea it was going to be this fast. But you never know. I had no idea I'd be going into Iran. I didn't think we'd have to do that. But it turned out we did, because they became more and more radicalized and more threatening. Our economy is booming again, and America is respected again all over the world, perhaps like never before. With the help of business leaders, innovators, allies, and partners like those in this room, incredible people in this room, incredible success stories, the most successful people in the world. We'll seize every opportunity, overcome every challenge, defeat every threat, and America and our allies will thrive and prosper and win like no nations have ever won before. You're going to win like you've never had before. So I want to just thank everybody very much, and I'm asked to take a few questions. And unlike other politicians, they would like the questions screened. I don't ask for screening of the questions. You can ask me anything you want. You can talk sex. You can do whatever the hell you want. I'm here for you. Whatever question you want, you can ask. So
that got a little weird really quick.
Do you want to do that? Do we have some people handling this? Here he comes. Look at this man. Very powerful man coming up, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take some questions. Good.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you so much. And thank you for accepting.
When you make a sex, how do you do it?
To take 5 questions. We don't want to take too much of your time. So let's talk about business. In one sentence, where should the world invest in America right now?
Say it, what?
Where should the world invest in America right now?
Well, look, the one that they're going crazy about is AI. Now, sometimes you'll say, let's go the opposite. Because
does the AI do a sex?
I've seen it. You know, everyone goes, but AI is going crazy. AI, so my family, we made Don, the whole family. Erica's doing a good job. All of us, Ivanka, we liked real estate. When you can make money in real estate, it's a great business. But I see some of these guys come into my office, they're wearing a T-shirt and they're 24 years old. Dad, he's got a net worth of $24 billion. I said, you gotta be kidding. Off a little contraption. So, but the money seems to be, right now, AI. And also, if you're in school, like you're going to the Wharton School or the Stern School or any of these great schools, I mean, the numbers that they're paying to go into that business is incredible, where you see people getting a $10 million bonus to sign, like baseball players or football players. We're giving you a $10 million. I mean, I hate to say because it sounds ridiculous, but there have been some $100 million bonuses paid to sign. So I think probably if you're going to say one thing, AI, and just hope that it works, right? You better hope.
And just hope that it works.
So, Mr. President, what is the one leadership trait the world is missing right now? What is missing in leadership?
Well, it's winning. You got to win. You know, I've watched a lot of people, leaders, great leaders. And, you know, the one thing about sports is you break it down into, you know, a 2-hour period, something nice. You don't have to wait a lifetime to find out if somebody a winner or a loser. You got a lot of losers, mostly losers, fortunately. It's a good thing to have a lot of losers. I always like to hang around with losers, actually, because it makes me feel better. I hate guys that are very, very successful and you have to listen to their success stories. I like people that like to listen to my success. But I find, and I found this, and I'm only kidding, I want to say that, sort of, but I find that people that win, it's much easier to lead when you're successful and you win. You know, Vince Lombardi was a very tough person, a very tough football coach. He was sort of a violent guy, actually. I knew him. But he won, and he got away with things because he won. You know, I used to say, if you win, winning helps you to become a better leader. People follow you if you win. And not everybody can win. Some people win, and some people don't win. But when you win, it's a lot easier to lead.
Talking about winning, Mr. President, the world is entering in a new economic era. Who do you think are the winners and who do you think will be the losers?
Are you talking about as nations?
Yes.
Well,
or sectors?
The United States right now is the hottest country anywhere in the world, by far. And we've done it very quickly because we have a good system. Now, it's somewhat radicalized because the Democrats are really holding us back, and you better hope they don't get in because they'll destroy a lot of what we've built. But right now, the United States, as the king, future king of Saudi Arabia said, we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. I must say, I respect China greatly because it's amazing that with a system that in theory shouldn't work, you know, we go to school and we go to the best business schools and we do well in those schools. And we read about free entrepreneurship, and we read about all of these different things. But you look at China, how well they do, how well they manufacture. I mean, they manufacture cars so many that they actually have a contest for who can manufacture the least cars because they have so many cars. You have to have great respect for China for the job they do. Like them or not like them, you have to respect them.
So precisely, you will be going to China in May.
Yes, I'll be going. We had a meeting, and I called up President Xi. I get along really well with him. He even approved the TikTok deal. He said, I will not approve that deal to other people, not to me. And I thought it was good if we could keep it going. I like it because I'm the #1 person on TikTok. Can you believe it? I put a chart up there, another chart. You want to put another chart up? Like we did with fake news, CNN. And I said, you know, let's see what happens. So we got a group of very big investors, the biggest investors, and they really wanted to buy TikTok. And I did very well on TikTok in the election. I won the youth. You know, I did tremendously well with youth because of TikTok and other things, certain interviews, etc. But I did very well. And I sort of developed a liking for it. And I was told that it will never be approved by China. You had to get approval. And I didn't really care. And then it got to a point where all of these very successful people were willing to pay a lot of money for TikTok. And I called up President Xi. I said, do me a favor. Will you approve it, please? It's good. It's good for China, good for us, good for everybody. Would you do me a favor? I know you said it was a hard no. And I said, I know you said
TikTok
no to everybody, but you haven't said no to me. Would you do me a favor? Would you approve it? It's good for China. It's good for us. You have a lot of big investors. They're investing in China also. They have a lot of money in China. I would appreciate it. He said, okay, I'll do it. Nice. It was very nice. And they bought TikTok, and it's going to do good. And it was done with the consent of China. We get along well with China. You know, China used to take big advantage of us, but they don't take advantage of us anymore. Now we compete very nicely with China. We put tariffs on China. The tariffs got too high. At one point, they were up to 145%. You know, I was saying, nope, put tariffs on that, put tariffs on for fentanyl, add 20%. And then one day I said, what's China paying now? Sir, they're paying 145%. I said, 145? That's crazy. I got a little carried away. So I got him down to 100. Then I took him down a little more, and I'll never forget, I took him down a little bit from 145 to 100, and the fake news said, Donald Trump collapses in China. They're paying 100%. Nobody pays 100. So anyway, we got it done. And now we have a great business relationship with China. I've always had a good relationship with President Xi, except for the COVID situation, because I wasn't thrilled about that. He wasn't thrilled either, by the way, but I wasn't thrilled. But I have great respect for him as a leader. And we had a deal. I was going there.
Looks like he's going to go on with this for a while. Till the end. All right. Well, I'll call it there. Miss Erin is in. How you doing? Hello, hello.
Good, although those comments are melting my brain.
Bit odd. Yeah. Yeah.
It just all melts my brain.
I know.
I'm like, what is going on?
TikTok and yeah. Well, how you been? You been good?
Actually, today I almost called in sick today, but I'm here.
Ah.
I don't know if it's like allergies or what the heck, but I woke up like just dragging.
Yeah. Well, if you ever need coverage, you just let me know. Always happy to cover if you're not feeling up to it.
Well, I appreciate that.
All right, I'll let you get to it. You have a good show.
Bye.
See ya.
Hey, everybody. I hope you're...
That's it. Bye, everybody. Bye, YouTube. I'll see you Monday.